Okay. Oh, why is it moving?
We're all sitting down. Actually, no, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to
Philip.
do that one.
It's lower than the recommended bit
I've
rate.
got
I
two
have no idea.
here. God almighty. Oh, that'll do. Solid. Right. I've got that off. You've all got.
Yes. Chris, how do I fill up my glass?
Oh, sorry. I have to fill it for you. Hold on a
Oh
second.
my gosh.
Every time you did it
Pour
last time, you were
gas
chucking it over your shoulder. It was
there.
quite funny, really. That's why I had to say, if you drink any more of that cocktail glass, the size of the glass you've got there, you're going to end up falling off the back of the boat.
There. The glass
Quite
is
funny.
full. And if you
I'm
click
up
on
in
it,
the
it
air.
will
That's
make
why.
you drink.
That's a bit silly, isn't it? So let me just bring that down a bit. Put my arse on the chair. That's better. Look at that.
See? How cool is this?
Oh, amazing. Right, now you've got to wait for the hordes of stampeding wildebeest to come hurtling on and try and get on the boat somewhere.
As if it's.
You're going to see them coming down the quayside in one big mass, you know that.
Oh yeah, sure, I know, because if we
Well, I know you said there might be one person, so we'll see where we go.
we're that important that people are just going to rush and say, oh yes, let's go and harass them and throw virtual potatoes and tomatoes and
Awesome.
that would be so much fun if they did that.
Someone's here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, I can see it all live.
What?
I can see it live.
Yes,
Oh, are you sure you want to stay in the red zone?
Hang on, I've just got to do something here. So, yeah, that one.
I'm practicing. This is our practice run. I haven't done a live since. Oh no, I did one with. Yeah, one. I'm going live next week with Harry and James Wagner.
Okay.
Who?
James.
Wait, are those actors? Isn't James Wagner? Doesn't he do some of the Marvel movies?
Is he still alive? Oh, sorry, I'm thinking Robert Wagner. Sorry.
No. He's like in his 30s.
Oh, hold up. Is this Wagner Rao blogger guy that is a pain in the arse to everybody?
Oh my gosh, don't say live. We're live, by the way.
Was he live? Oh, is he here? I don't think he's here, is he?
No,
Are we already
he's not
live?
here. Yes, we are live.
There's six. Hey, hold up. There's
Yep.
6.
Yeah. What?
Okay, we've got like a 3 second. We've got a 3 second buffer.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably right.
I want to cut that down so I can hear what's going on in one thing, because I can't hear it all in both.
I just hope the sound is okay. It doesn't remember the first live that I did.
I think I might have some wine for real. Are we okay with that? Are we all okay with that?
Well, yeah. I would have wine for real if it wasn't 9:30 a.m.
It's 6:30 p.m. here.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
don't want to know what time it is here.
No.
Midnight?
It's being weak. It's 1:30. Are you at 1:30? Is it the same as Paris?
Is it the same as Paris?
I don't know. I think they're 1 hour maybe behind. Or it must be the same as Portugal. Okay, he's a man. He should be able to handle it. Come on. Seriously.
What's our
Right.
topic tonight?
I
Hey,
heard about 4 different versions of me saying there's a 3-second buffer here. So it's going to get very confusing if we try and listen, got multiple feeds going on these things. So I tell you what, I've got YouTube up here as well. If you're going YouTube live or whatever the ones you're doing. So
Oh, okay, we've got one person. It works. Okay.
wait,
hello, person.
At least we have one.
oh,
I think that no, that's Andy. Andy P37.
yeah, you don't want to know don't ask what the P stands for.
No, I don't know.
Clara, you can keep quiet on that. Okay.
That's for pee-pee. What?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is the problem you get when you're dealing with a YouTube account. They want you to use in some sort of generic Google thing, and I've got a Google thing here, but it's just it's all over the place.
I think my YouTube account is kitty antlers.
I don't know.
Don't y'all go looking for me though. Now somebody's gonna look for me.
Yeah, in the beginning, my YouTube was showing my full name. Like for many years, I thought, why does it show my full name, real name? And
It's your Gmail account. It's all under Google.
Yeah, but I had to figure out how to set up. You have to set up your profile so it shows just your first name, not the whole full name.
I have to say this whole blogging thing, these chats that we're having, and hitting all these different things, has really been an education for me. Are you recording this, by the way, Chris? Or
Yes,
not?
of course I am.
Oh, cool.
I'm listening
Cool.
to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we had TJ on there the other week, and he was talking about the old Hyvid thing, and everybody else out there was a comment that came up a couple of days ago talking about pirated tattoos. And custom I thought that you can actually go online and get your own custom tattoo. Not custom tattoo. You can go online and get custom designs. They're freeware. They're available to everybody, and they're just like black and white designs. And it doesn't take much, I guess, for someone that knows how to do it, and I don't, to basically upload those and plaster it on their body somewhere, and hey presto, they've got a tattoo. But this guy was being accused of getting pirated tattoos and stuff.
I mean, TJ's can't hear, or what TJ is not here, so he can't speak for himself. But
I know.
mean, there are a lot of creators, really creative artists who make things on SL, and they sell their own original creations.
Yeah, but
It's so hard.
Yeah, but the thing is, a tattoo. I've never bought a tattoo thinking, "Oh my gosh, is this like?" I've never even thought about that I could be wearing a tattoo that has been.
How can you get a pirated tattoo? Is you
I
like sort of
don't know. I don't know. Maybe
just think of the logistics of the actual phrase. I mean, are they like sort of chopping bits of someone's anatomy off and trying to graft a tattoo onto their own build?
A lot of real life artists, they might make like a portfolio book of some of their stuff. But this is stuff that they made themselves, so it is their material.
Yeah, but how would you know? There's like millions of tattoo artists. Like I'm pretty sure one of my closest friends is a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
As far as
how do you know that the tattoo is a pirated tattoo? It's just
it's
I really don't
mind-blowing. Like there is no way you could actually check that unless it is a very famous tattoo.
I know
Unless
that I know that tattoo artists work hard to like protect their work and stuff, but I don't know how it all works and how it all goes.
I mean, unless you've got like a copyright Gucci or Dior or something like that on it, how are you?
Yeah, but I think well, aren't you allowed to tattoo a Dior logo? Like, what is it going to, like, what would Dior do, for example, if you...
Well, we talked about this the other week as well, didn't we? Not the same week. When we talked in terms of trademarks and how these companies protect their brands, don't they?
But if it's a trademark, I understand the trademark if you buy a bag that is copied. But now if you tattoo the logo Gucci and Dior and whatever, Eminem or anything like that, like is it copyright on your body? What are they going to do about it?
Well,
Cut your skin off?
If you're using the logo, it is, because they've got their own... Oh, God. Put my day hat on. You get these packs from the marketing departments telling you you've got to use such and such a font, size and such a color, and how it all hangs together, and where you can use it and where you can't use it and stuff. And I guess if someone goes online, copies the thing off an image and just basically grafts it onto something they've made, then that's not really falling in line with that. And I kind of get why that would be. It's not necessarily pirated, it's just unlicensed. But yeah, it's interesting.
But I mean,
it's someone just trying to find fault, and they thought they found it, but they didn't.
But,
There's no proof.
Yeah, and I mean, what are we going to do? Like now, Chanel and Gucci and all that, they're going to have to open their line. Now, can I have a license to get your logo tattooed on my body? It doesn't.
I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, that would be.
I don't know. I know people get celebrity faces on their bodies, and it's not. I mean, the celebrity can't exactly sue them.
My
So
God,
there's
can you imagine that?
No, yeah, but that's what I mean.
But the
like,
celebrity could sue them for using their likeness for something else. But apparently, when it's a tattoo, they can't. As far as I know.
Yeah, how many lawsuits would
I can see how that can be cool to some people and incredibly cheesy and rather amusing to some others. So there's all sorts of ways you could use that. So yeah, but oh well, here we are sitting in the boat again and bobbing around.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
darling. Are you sure you want to keep the boat in the res zone?
It's not in the res zone. I've taken it just outside it, so I'm not blocking it up. Although I must admit, if this guy tries to take his plane out, then we can have a problem. Yeah, I mean, if he turns up and wants us to move it, then I'll shift it over a bit. But I've anchored it over there, and hopefully, if someone does turn up, they can just jump over the rail and jump on, or talk to us from the other side there, or sit on the sofas where we've got. We've got a barbecue. We've got a barbecue. We've got a buffet laid out for people. Come on, guys! You've got nachos and wine.
Yeah, but just take note. I've just refilled a second glass for Clara. Okay, I just want everybody to know. It's Clara's second
what I do
glass
like,
of wine.
Chris, is that you've started how you mean to carry on with this whole thing. I mean, you brought a bottle. I mean, the rest of us just get on with the glass. But I like your style. I really do. You're living the life there.
She's sharing.
Well, this is sharing is caring. I'm living my second life to the fullest.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants a glass of wine, I can't have a glass of wine because it's not even 10 a.m. here. So I have it in Second Life because it's.
I mean, technically you can.
Okay, I'm British, and if you go back to another, I can refer back to things all day because the amount of inane ramble I come out with, and drivel I come out with sometimes, I must admit. I'm sitting here with a cup of tea. I like my cup of tea, so I'm British, and it's what we do.
It's so boring.
Even if the tea comes from somewhere else. But yeah, there's Clara will attest because I went out to Texas and. Proved it to her. There is nothing like a good British cup of tea. Sorry.
Oh my God, his tea is so good. I used to be a tea nut for all the different flavors, and I still kind of, I'm into the different flavors. But there is something about British tea. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah, maybe it's good. No, actually, it's disgusting. I don't like tea. But
I know you don't. You're French, you see, and in French they just don't put the milk and the sugar and they go through the whole thing. I had a cup of tea in France once, and it looked a bit like
piss.
No, I'm not going to say. I was going to say something, and it could be considered a bit rude, but it didn't look very nice. Let's put it that way. Kind of like hot coloured water, really. But yeah.
Yeah, piss.
I've been to other countries, and they throw like a tea bag of Lipton's at me, and they say, "Hey, I shouldn't be talking about brand, should I?" They throw a brand of these things at me, and they say, "Hey, here's your breakfast tea." And I look at it and I say, "Sorry."
So that brand flavor is nice as an iced tea. Americans put some lemon in it,
milk.
Some sugar. It's great.
Yeah, tea with milk doesn't sound good.
Tea with milk is good. Yorkshire tea with milk.
No, somebody said in the chat.
British
tea with milk. No. I like my coffee black, no sugar, like pure coffee.
Yeah,
I'll be like your
there's
women.
time for that as well. I've got
Sorry.
I've got a coffee machine in the other room there, and I have a coffee first thing in the morning, but I won't drink it all day. I mean, I know some people do, and they live and die by it, but I like to sleep at night when I get off this call.
Me, but
so, clue, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here. Okay, so
don't be weak. We hear that every Sunday we do a show.
I know you do.
Oh,
I know
guys,
you do.
I have to
and I don't mind.
I have to go. He's so weak. Must be British thing, the Brits. I have to go to bed with my little cup of
he also
tea.
stays up late every night.
I do. This woman keeps me up so late you wouldn't believe, and it sounds really, really exciting, but actually it's not.
I thought you liked the way I do that. No, I'm kidding.
Excuse
well, not
me,
usually. There have been moments, but in all fairness,
to
but yeah.
make a woman happy, though. This is what you have to do.
We can't talk about that on a PG-rated YouTube channel. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh. I thought
oh my goodness! If we talk about the stuff we usually do, Pris, you are going to end up with like 3 strikes in one day or something. It's going to be ridiculous.
Now I need to figure out. You know how they do the beep, 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 beep.
Well,
beep.
That's what you are. You see, because you've got this 3-second buffer, or whatever, how many seconds it is. If you hit it as soon as you've got it, then basically you can cut the audio for like a second or something, and that basically covers
the a way that it does it automatically. Like a lot of people do live and they have the beep automatically, don't they?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I'll have to ask, because surely
but
it's
because there's more than one, like.
No, surely
it's coming
not
from one place
else.
and going to another, and in between there's like a 7-second delay. So that's when the censorship guys hit the beep button, and that's about all I know on that. So don't ask me for details.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure.
Well, looking on the stream here, Fluffpaw, hi. Mr. Pimentel, I'm sorry that you can't drink tea with milk.
I'm not sorry.
I'd welcome the opportunity to show you how the whole thing works, and it really is an experience. And I know that it doesn't sound nice to some people, or they may have got used to just having the tea. There are some people that drink tea with no, but the usual way is. I mean, if you talk to people in the construction industry over in the UK, it's going to be Yorkshire tea. It's going to be milk with sugar in it. It's an abomination, he says. Oh, thanks for that.
We're going extreme now.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Well, we've started something now. Guys, we've got 7 people watching us right now. We've had 8 a minute ago. Is there any particular issues that you might want to talk about, or anything you'd like to talk about, sort of Second Life wise, with us here? I mean, we're sitting down here. We've all got drinks of some description. We're sitting around the table. If you're in Second Life, come down and see us. Chris has put the location. We're sitting down here. We're just off the side of a jetty, in the boat, which you may have seen before. Just as I'm talking to you, YouTube decided to show me a video. Shows me an advert. But yeah, here we are. She's got the dog that's doing tricks. I mean, by all means, come on down. Say hi. More the merrier.
Yeah,
a nice big boat.
We weren't prepared. Like, we had miscommunication about the time, or
I know.
Me not getting the time, the day. Yeah, everything, we got it all wrong. So we unprepared, and we did not prepare a topic, because we usually.
You live and learn, don't you? You live and learn, don't you? We can be organised next time, because we realise what we've done wrong.
Yeah, we usually do that half an hour before, and today we don't have a topic.
Yeah.
Specific, unless you want to Google again, what's the topic of the day?
Okay. So let me do this then. So I'm going to chuck it in, and I'm going to say, hey Copilot, what's the hottest subject in Second Life? Hottest subject.
Or the digital space could be.
In Second
Digital
Life.
space might be too broad. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, probably.
I think we should talk about alien abductions.
Why do you think? Why do you think we should talk about alien abductions, apart from the fact that there are potentially aliens listening to us? Okay, I've got the hottest subject in Second Life right now. Co-pilot says to me, it's buzzing with activity across various themes and destinations. Some of the hottest topics
Thank you,
include
Chris.
romantic spots. You can go to virtual dating, dancing, and enchanting venues like Jeju Island and Sweet Surrender are popular for creating memorable moments. I don't know these places. I'm making notes here.
Okay, yeah, but this is boring topic.
You know, the next one is adult destinations, which include clubs, beaches, and role-playing areas catering to mature audiences. We can't do that on this channel. Yeah. Because YouTube will shut us down.
We could if we tread so carefully, but what's the fun in that?
No.
Well, I could put my British. Well, I'm British. I can put on my British hat. Well, we can talk about things using very mundane phrases and words, with the amount of double entendre that you can put attached to them, and people in certain parts of the world haven't got a clue that we're sitting there laughing our heads off behind the screens.
Y'all slang is crazy sometimes.
Oh, I know. We've got that. So, the other one we've got here is community discussions. Hey, this is what we're doing. Curated playlists such as Second Life destinations, highlight trending places and activities. Okay.
Too many events on weekends. It's not on weekends. It's just all the time. There's too many events. I don't even go shopping.
Lots of events on weekends. When you're talking events, Mr. Pimentel, are you talking in terms of shopping events, or are you talking in terms of community events, or I don't know, club events, sporting events?
I think it's only the shopping events that are overabundant.
There's more to life than shopping, isn't there? I know people are going to shoot me down in flames for saying that, but let's be honest. There is more to life than shopping, just spending your money.
But it's so fun, though.
No, it's not.
In SL, it is.
I mean sales, yeah.
In sales, okay,
sales.
yeah.
No. In Second Life. In Second Life, it's fun to shop. In real life, it's not quite so fun.
No, it is fun to shop, but there are too many events. Like if you go to, I think the amount of events there are on Second Life, you probably would go to 5 a day if you had to do them all, at least.
If you could,
if you could, but
if you could get into them, because so many people just park in there, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, who has the time to do that? Just five events a day. Like you log in, you go shopping, and then what? Like you wouldn't have time to even I shop. I don't wear. The only reason I wear what I buy is because I'm doing videos, so I try to wear something different each time.
Well, you're the blogger multimedia queen, Chris. I mean, you go to these things. I don't. I've got to be honest. I'm probably the Antichrist as far as the stores are concerned, because
you're a guy.
I see the same things all the time, just retextured. So I'm buying the same thing, basically a different colour, and I can't see the point of that. And the other thing is, they all cost money. They all cost between a certain range of money. That adds up when you start buying the same thing. So I'm spending loads of time, loads of money trying to buy the same thing again and again. And I kept thinking, what's the point of that? Can we have some more mesh designers in Second Life to produce something completely new? And of course, everybody will then copy that and retexture that. But you know what I mean? There's not a lot of actual original content out there.
Full perm stuff that you see across different brands.
Yeah, and Mr. Pimentel's right. I mean, he's saying he seems Saturday sales go on all week. It's a fixture right now, and they say just lower the prices. Yeah. This is something else. There's a whole price war going on out there right now, and I think you raised a point on a separate blog that you did a few weeks back when you talked in terms of just people. They just get into a price war, and they don't think in terms of the actual mechanics of the amount of time someone takes to make these things, and then make them in every version to satisfy everybody. And then you get the people that start saying, well, okay, I'll pick the latest body or the latest figure, and I'll just make it for that one, which kind of alienates your entire customer base, because a lot of your customers might not necessarily want to go to that. And that's a shame too. It's kind of forcing people's hands to upgrade or to change a body from one that they might be completely happy with and not want to change from at all. I know someone that's in that position. And you're kind of looking at it, you're thinking, well, why do you want to do that? And then the fact that they start saying, okay, so we'll give you these things, and we'll knock it out to you for 50 lindens. I mean, how much is a linden these days? It's like, it's not even the price of a tomato. It's not even the price of a tomato, is it? I mean, so someone spent probably several hours of their time making something, texturing it, making sure it fits, making sure it doesn't clip the bodies and everything else on there. Then they do the same for every other bodies, and you can probably get, I don't know, 7 or 8 different bodies on these things, and then they're going to try and make it in a different colour and doing all of that. And yeah, you're completely right. You're saying here this pricing structure for some stores is really weird. Fat packs in some places go for 2K. The shape specific fat pack is $9.99. Okay, 1,000. So half the price. There is no logic to it. All they're simply trying to do is outbid the other people that potentially have got this stuff. And it's pricing for a shirt. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a guy here. I've got nearly every shirt that interests me, frankly, because if I buy other ones, I see the same shirt. It's just got a different design on it. Well, there's a couple of cases where I like the design, but the rest of the time, it's a shirt. It's just a shirt. I'd like more. Oh, I need more. You know that? I need more. Okay, I got a shirt. I've got jeans. Oh yeah. That's...
To the bots.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. What I would talk in terms of bots invading your sim. Do you have estate rights over the sim that you are using? The answer to that is if you do, if you go in under the region details.
You can't just ban them.
No, you can. You can. If you go into the region details, and then you look at the elements on there, it's under region. I think I can't see it from this one. In this particular region. But if you go in there, there is an option to allow access to scripted accounts. You must uncheck that or check that if it says deny access to scripted accounts, because basically every scripted account is a bot. Mm-hmm. It's open world. Okay. Well, then you're kind of stuck really, because everyone's just going to come walking in. I guess that's one of the...
There's some security that'll do it, but it's not... Oh, Pris, most of the bots that come randomly to places, most of the bots are spying bots in one way or another.
Why can't get a security?
The random ones. I mean,
I'm sure you can get. I mean, I might be wrong, but because I don't use mainland for this reason. Yeah. But is it not right that if you have a parcel that you have rented or bought on mainland, you could put an orb in that and basically then control access, set a group up of the preferred people that you want to go into that area. If you get visitors, then obviously turn it off or whatever, just for a couple of minutes, or give them access to that particular group. And that way, then anything coming into that area or that parcel is then going to be controlled by the application one of the group, and secondly by a security orb which you've got lurking inside there. Yes, you're still going to get the people hanging around on the perimeter looking in, but they can't see you. What they can see is obviously what's going on. If you're in a private parcel, and you've got your own sim or whatever, you've got estate rights over your sim, then it's very, very simple over your region or homestead or whatever to simply uncheck that scripted agent option, and basically that will get rid of damn near everything.
Yeah, but not mainland must be very different. I don't use mainland either, so the region that me and Clara have just spent the last couple of hours clubbing in has done exactly that.
And people look and they, my God, look at all the people, all the bots. There are no bots in there because we've turned it off. In fact, at one point, the owner decided to do a group teleport and say, "Do you want to come on in?" You know, and to all the people in the group for that particular club, and inadvertently actually invited her own notice bot, which isn't in that region; it's somewhere else. So the bot actually got invited, and as bots do, it decided to accept and came in there. We saw the orange fluff of cloud for about a second.
Yeah.
And it just disappeared. That was it. We just don't see them. We just don't see them. We just don't see them at all.
Yeah, but she has permissions at regional level and all of that.
That's what I'm saying. If you've got estate rights, you can do it.
Yeah,
But mainland doesn't have the same permissions.
There's
that's the problem.
There's bot security products. As far as if they work 100%, I'm not sure. They might work 99% at worst, I think.
What about asking ChatGPT or one of those apps to make a code for it? Surely they can come up with a code to create a scripted,
Are they that advanced yet?
I don't know. People keep raving about.
I mean, because Second Life is really specific.
I know, but
could try.
You can try.
Guys, can we talk one at a time? Because I'm sure these people can't hear us.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So I'm just throwing it out there,
We're supposed to have fun, Andy. Okay, relax.
I know, but if we all talk at the same time.
Okay, Andy, you just instead of talking about tea, here's a glass.
I wish they would make it easier to ban them.
Just have a drink, have a wine, so you can chill.
Yes, I've got the wine. Thank you for that. I seem to be holding a wine. I don't know where I'm holding.
Well, you're not holding a wine. I can't see you with a wine.
You just given me a wine. So hang on a minute. What do I want to do with this?
Find it in your inventory.
I've got it. I'm getting there. Where are we? I'm going to hold this.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Let me give you pour some wine. Just give some wine to my guest.
What are you doing?
She's even making the sound effect now. Look at this.
That's my boyfriend.
Oh look! It filled it up.
Yes.
So you give me the old. What's this? Is this Jacob's Creek or is it something French? Come on, girl. You're in Australia, and I know damn well you've got French background. It's a Chardonnay. Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah, it's Trident.
Well,
it has bubbles and it gets you buzzed. That's all.
Yeah, and then you click on the glass and you drink it.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, salut, Pris. Thank you very much for that. It does. I can do this. Look at that. Oh, look at that.
See?
I'm impressed. Every time I try and drink for something, I end up chucking it over my shoulder or pouring it down my front or something because the thing doesn't line up with my mouth.
Yeah. I've got a video coming about that.
Oh, have you?
Oh yeah.
So
I've blogged about the animation for a few, so now it's time
to
do
have
a video. Yeah. I've been complaining about that.
So
Fluffpaw, I'm with you. In terms of banning bots, I'm with you. It would be great to ban all the bots, but then again, if you go back to something that we talked about the other week when we talked about bots and what they actually are, bots are automated programs that basically do things for people, and they can be used for good things and they can be used for bad things. So some bots are good at inviting people, some bots are good for getting information out there which you might otherwise be wanting or expecting from somebody else to provide, and maybe they just don't have the time to do it. Maybe all these guys that are out there producing stuff. Hi Clownie, good to see you. Basically, they're trying to do these things. Maybe they haven't got time to do that. And then when you've got a situation like that, then actually bots aren't such a bad idea. If you're then going to start using them for spying on people, for copying content, for snooping around, for griefing people, and all those kind of things, then clearly that's not the right way. Again, it's down to the person that programs it. if you got the people, some people use them for good reasons, some people use them for the bad, and you kind of get that, I think, everywhere in Second Life, just like you get it in the real world as well.
I had an issue one time when I was still doing rentals. One of my renters said, "Hey, my child cannot come to the sim," and I didn't know back then about the bots. I didn't, because I had the bots, no bots activated on the estate, and she didn't tell me that her child was actually a scripted avatar, a bot. So she just moved out without telling me. Only realized it like months later. I thought, oh my gosh, this is why it happened.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe it's also new that there isn't maybe a way to differentiate, like from where the Lindens are. There's not really a way to differentiate what is going to be a malicious bot and what is something scripted that someone just has their own land to help out their land. And that might be part of why it's not like so easy to just ban them, and like or to make one kind of bot just not allowed in SL and then the other kind allowed. It may come with some time, but I bet it's just so
they will
it
have
can't
to
be
find a way.
differentiated.
But yeah, a lot of people do use them for traffic to make it look like there is traffic. But
Well, do they or not? Because let's be honest about the mechanics
Well,
of
when
this.
I say when I say
Can
like
I-
good bots,
If you've got an account, if you've got an automated account, it'll go in on the sim, it'll sit there, it does what it wants to do, and then it'll go. The speed these things actually run, the bots tend to go into these sims, they come and go in a matter of a few seconds. They don't park there for something like 20 minutes or more. That's something slightly different. And I don't think it's... I take on board what you're saying, Fluffpaw, about the reason that Second Life leaves them, because it makes it look like more people are logged in than they really are. It's not... They can't measure bots so much. In fact, when you set up a bot, because I mentioned this notice bot that we've got, when they set up these things, you obviously determine the fact it's a bot, or Second Life determines it's a bot. It doesn't include them in any regional counts anyway. So just the fact that Second Life is allowing bots, it's not counting those when it talks in terms of region counts. It's talking in terms that it counts actual people. It counts actual accounts going in, and the actual count you get for a region is also related to the amount of times people log in and log out. It's not just a static figure. I mean, I've sat there looking at a place that's been in the past. It's got like about half a dozen people in it, and it might have half a dozen people in it for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours in a day, and the count on that thing for the day is going to come up at over 2,000. Well, it hasn't. It's only got 4 or 5 people in there. So it's counting activity as well as actual accounts in there. That's the thing. For that, you can't really use a bot because it's not counting the bots. It's counting the accounts going in. And the other side of it as well is Second Life has put not all of its mechanics. Most of its mechanics are in the cloud now. It's provided by Amazon Web Services, AWS for short. And that costs money. That costs money, which is reflected back into sim owners and reflected back onto everything that we pay Second Life. And they basically pay an amount to AWS to rent server space to be able to run all this. Great. And in fact, the latest thing which I've just seen, and we can talk about it in a minute actually to spring to mind, is the fact that we can now actually access Second Life through a browser as well. So, they're starting to generate more capability from that point of view. That's great. It's therefore not in their interest to apply too many resources to a particular region or to a number of regions, because they're going to get charged more for it. They're getting charged for the amount of data going down that pipe to everybody. That's how AWS works. You don't just say, okay, I'm going to give you 50 quid for a server and the world is going to connect to that server. No, they do it. They're a little bit more strategic than that. So they'll actually say the amount of data coming out of that server and where it's going, and then the backups and business continuity and all those things too. So it's not really in Second Life's interest, in my view, to be charging or to be encouraging the use of bots, for the simple reason of inflating figures. Because to do that, they're actually cutting their own throats. They're actually paying more money by doing it. However, if you go back to the chat that we had the other week, where we talked in terms of use of bots, we were just outside that welcome place. And that's a great place for Second Life to put bots, because obviously they haven't got people around 24/7 to handle everybody coming in at any time they suits them. And the bots and the chat, these chat GPT enabled AI bots, the basic ones which they're using, are great at being able to taking people through the mechanics of how you start Second Life. You haven't got to go around that whole assault course anymore. Jump through this hoop, run through this bit. It gives you a point every time you do it, because that used to be the way they were doing it. So I think that's, I take on board what you're saying. I think there's a lot of confusion between accounts and alts and bots, and a lot of people are now thinking that bots are the be all and the end all, and they're the effectively the antichrist. They're the nemesis of the normal community. With respect, they're a tool of the trade, and I don't think it's a question of saying that you can replace a community with bots, because you can't. Chris, you even blogged about it yourself. I think it's just a question of where the bots are being applied and what they're actually doing. If they're doing malicious stuff, then clearly get them out of the way. How do you govern that? Are you gonna have to be in a position to submit every bot that you, or every bot routine that you're trying to do to Second Life for them to review that? And are you then going to be able to say that the person that then gets a bot passed by that review team isn't going to start distorting the purpose for which it was designed and using it for something else? Because that's how they got copy bots in the first place. Exactly, Fluffball. You can't. It's a whack-a-mole situation. So I think it's a question, this is technology. It's moving forward. We should embrace it, but we should embrace it with caveats, I think. And I think I take on board what you're saying, and I'm with you. But I can see some advantages for it too. Yeah?
As long as they don't overrun Second Life, it's fine.
Well, that's it. I mean, you said on it the other week, didn't you, Chris, about, okay, if you're in a community area like a club or a shopping area, or, a place where people can talk and interact with each other there, if you go in there and you are the only real person that's, talking, and everybody else is computer generated, then what's the point of Second Life? Because Second Life is here to basically bring the community together. If that community consists of a whole number of software programs and one real person that's flesh and blood, then clearly you've broken it. You've broken the model.
Yeah, you should go into playing Inzo or The Sims if that's what you want. But on Second Life it should be real people.
Yeah.
But one bot's here and there, like we need a waiter here to serve wine, for example. That would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I've got is if I get up from this take from where I'm sitting right now, and you two decide to stand up too, this boat is going to disappear because I haven't actually got res rights where we are right now. So I'm staying very firmly planted on the seat here, just so that all stays here. But Fluffpaw, I'm with you. I would agree with that. I think that's a great way of enabling people to do what they want to do. And if you then decide to deploy a bot of some description on your own parcel of land or on your own land somewhere to do something,
mainland, though,
then you can do that. The bot could be like a virtual assistant, a bit like I won't say it too loud because I've got one about 3 meters from me, an Alexa, or a Siri, or something like that, and basically, yeah. Did it hear me? No, it didn't. Good. Basically, you could ask that questions, and it could do what you wanted to do and automate some of the process which you might want to have in your own parcel. I mean, that would be great. Exactly, Clementine. I think
I
that's
would
great.
like. Yeah, we went to a sim yesterday. We did some exploring with Thunder, and there was a coffee shop, and it would have been great if there had been, a bot coming to serve us, even paying. Like it's a little bit, paying 5 linden for a coffee, would be cool. It add that immersive thing.
There's another side to it as well, because I mean, if we're talking in terms of AI bots, I mean, then they're using AI engines here, and AI isn't free. Sorry, it's not. You're handling data through AI or a number of responses, and the firms that are providing these facilities don't do it for free. They'll charge you by numbers of responses or something like that, and it's only a small amount, but it starts adding up over time.
Yeah.
So you've always got to be mindful of that too. I mean, that is actually an additional revenue stream potentially, if someone had the intelligence in the powers that be to basically say, hey, we could allow these things. We could allow people to turn off that facility on their parcel, or we could allow people a facility to put these on the parcels, and here are the ones that we could recommend, and they can do this and this and this and this, and let the people customize them to make them look how they want them to look. So I don't get something that looks like a 45-year-old account, or no, you know what I mean? It look like some hobo that's dragged himself up from under an arch or something. When I'm sitting in a nice, slick, PBR-enabled, glossy club that's looking looking really, really designer and really plush. So it would be great to have the ability to customize and do those things too. I get that. Clown, I think you're exactly right in terms of your partner's whining. Yeah, give her a bot. Hey, if the bot's really good enough, she might not even tell the difference. So you could go and do whatever you want to do for the rest of the day. Go and play golf, or go watch some motor racing or NASCAR, whatever.
Wait.
Whatever you want to do. That should be
What are
great.
you saying that I said? What?
I think Andy, you've got to stop the wine. Maybe we should go back.
Hey, you can do what someone I know has done and take the output from a bot and wire it up to a speech synthesizer. And this is the sort of people, if people are disabled, for example, and can't always type, or if they're using a pointer rather than a keyboard to be able to do things. Actually, that works quite well if we ever take Second Life back into the VR element too. You get a bot to help you do some of those things, because everyone can put VR goggles on, but you ever tried typing when you've got VR goggles? You can't do it. That's the thing.
I am trying to log in to my Insta on VR not VR chat through MetaQuest, because I've got a MetaQuest 3 and I want to try to stream. And I'm thinking, I am not entering my password. Like, I have to type in. My password is long, very long, and all sorts of digits. I'm not entering that manually.
Mine is too. Andrew said my password was crazy when I told it to him.
And I'm just like,
that's the password, though.
Yeah. The gentleman I know that's wired he's taken this software, which is, I think, for the people that are challenged physically or whatever. They can't necessarily use a keyboard. He's wired a speech synthesizer or voice synthesizer up to the bot, and he can talk to the bot, and the AI in the bot will talk back to him. There you go. That's great. It's not so good if you have how can I put this? If you have an intellectual disability, if you have an intellectual condition, shall we say, if you're undergoing therapy and you think that bot's going to be good for therapy, don't. Please turn the thing off, turn the computer off, and go and see a therapist, because you're leaving yourself open to every troll and every subroutine and the bad parts of the internet as well as the good. And it's very, very tempting to be able to believe that bot, and they're getting better and better, is a real person. Like my friend that did these things.
I think they will, though. Like, I mean, I know Clownie is joking about become like Terminator, but I mean, I've watched this movie before. The bot was the maid, and she took over and started to decide who's going to do what, and Yeah,
Well, that's a movie, isn't it?
Well, it's
I
a
could,
movie, yeah, but it could
I
happen.
could, I can remember with one of the Terminator movies, one of the many follow-ups, where they had a female Terminator turned up there, and she's going around, firing machine guns and morphing into all sorts of weird, wonderful shapes to take over the world and bump off the people and basically create doomsday. And at one point, when she's doing all that in the meantime, she's actually flirting with a guy, and I think she went up to a cop and said, "I like your gun," and all this, and the guy was like, "Oh, he thought he was on a promise for something," and actually she was getting ready to bump the guy off. But it kind of shows, how a machine can take that kind of take those ideas and those concepts and then push them back in a particular area. My friend had one where he told the bot he was feeling lonely, and the bot told him through a speech synthesizer that she put her arm around him and she gave him a kiss to feel better. Now, is that really a Terminator there? No. He said, "I kind of feel as if I'm in love." I said, "Don't go there." But you could get to that situation. So I think it's good and bad things.
Watch the movie Subservience with Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Watch
Can you imagine?
Movie. That's
Imagine! Oh, Subservience! Oh my God, Megan Fox. Well, there we go. Look at that.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, watch it. It's on Prime, and she's an actual AI maid. Yeah, AI maid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Carrying on down this thing. So yeah, I don't think it's become Judgment Day because the bots basically are only ever as good as the people that program them. If you get a bot that's basically programmed to go after, create damage and target specific assets, etc., and have a military capability, then you're going to be a bit careful if you decide to let that go in your local shopping mall. Again, that's down to the person and where they're deploying it rather than the bot. Bots are not going to destroy the world unless they're programmed to do so, and they are allowed to do so, and there has to be a person responsible for that. Fluff paw, another issue, great one. Everyone wants more Lindens. Offering upgrades, the payment will be more to cover the extra CPU and RAM on the server. Yeah, why you could move Second Life into a subscription model. So people pay for access to Second Life, and that's then offset the cost of the land and the cost of things that are being created, etc., and doing it that way. But the point is, if you do that, then that actually then means that the Lindens get more money, because the amount of people who've got alt accounts and the number of people that have got free accounts, they're not making any money from those things. I mean, I'm sitting here, I can sit in the sim and I'm sitting here looking at avatars coming in on classic avatars on something that looks about sort of 15, 20 years old. It's actually been set up last week. And these things are coming in all the time because they're free. They're not alts. They can be alts. They can be there for a number of different reasons. But that people are just coming in and using these things, and the Lindens don't make any money from that unless they decide to upgrade those things and go into that whole pricing model. So, if you went down the realms of a subscription model where people pay a nominal amount, say I don't know, $15 or $20 a month, it would create such a change. Because there would be less willingness to set up alt accounts. There would be less willingness to set up bots for no reason, for griefing people, because it's going to cost people money every time they set one up. If you then offset that against the cost of land and the cost then of purchasing things a little bit as well, because the Lindens take a cut from all that too. Offset a little bit from that as well. Then basically you change the pricing model so people can end up investing more in what they're doing, focusing more on having initial accounts. Okay, so the amount of people registered as using Second Life in any particular moment will be less. Right now, you can look in on there, and I'm not going to keep the thing up there, but it's probably telling me we've got about 45,000 accounts logged on live right now. In realistic terms, it's probably about 11,500, something like that. I saw a formula the other week where it calculated and shows you what the actual figures are. And if you then take the alt accounts and the bots offline and the other elements offline, there you come down with a much more realistic figure. But you are going to make money out of everyone using that account. And this isn't rocket science because every other virtual world adopts a similar pricing model. I'm surprised that Second Life doesn't do it. However, one of the things that Second Life is doing now is they're talking in terms of for premium accounts and pushing people more towards the premium account side, or where you're talking in terms of access via the internet, where you could be paying for access to Second Life that way too. So they're starting to make moves towards that subscription model. I think if they can bring down the price of regions and land, and I think if they can bring down the price of some of these other things a little bit from their side, I think that would be such a game changer. It would make it more accessible to people that are doubting whether or not it's good for them. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Even if they had a subscription, there will always be free options because everything. I mean, isn't IMVU on subscription model?
Yeah,
you can join for free. Yeah, but you can pay a subscription.
Other ones out there which I've seen as well.
And
OpenSim, 3DX.
99% quit rate, which I will be discussing with James Wagner. He told us on Tuesday, Monday it will be live. He told us it was 99% quit rate. 99%.
Whoa.
So,
yep.
Here's the thing, because I've been in more than one virtual world. And I can tell you, yes, Second Life is probably one of the prettiest ones out there. There are some ones which have their moments, so they've got some, some the water looks better, and in other ones, certain avatars look better. But you're much more limited in terms of what you can actually do. Whereas in Second Life, there is a fantastic breadth and warmth of what people can actually do and customize and do their own things. And of course, everyone in Second Life as a result of that is very into how they look, and they invest an awful lot of money and shopping and everything else into making making things exactly how they want them to be. In other virtual worlds, they don't necessarily have that luxury, so you end up with an avatar, you end up with a community of avatars that don't look particularly good. What I have noticed is that in those kind of virtual worlds, and some of them have been around longer than Second Life. What I have noticed is in those virtual worlds, people tend to interact more. They tend to compensate more for the fact that they look absolutely horrible. But people then start bringing out their own personality in what they're doing, rather than, all the customizations. And the one thing I have found when I've been through 4. And I've looked at these things, and I've seen that a lot of people in Second Life are very technically astute and very technically minded. There's a lot of people working in IT in there. There's a lot of developers. A lot of people may be sort of sitting online with data farms and servers, and they've got Second Life on a spare computer in their spare time. That's where they are. If I go to some of these other accounts, I'm dealing with people that are motorcyclists, or I'm dealing with people that are teachers. I'm dealing with normal, other people outside of the IT environment, and they have a completely different way of approaching people, and they are more talkative. In fact, it's really interesting when I see people come from those communities into Second Life, because you can see them a mile off. How many times have we gone into a place, right, where you've got a club or you've got an event going on? Someone logs in, they take about 3 steps forward, and they sit there dead, and they just stare. They don't say, they just stare at you. They're probably looking at your profile. They're probably gauging and trying to judge on whether or not they think you're looking good or whatever. Or they're trying to find out how the sim's being made, because they might want to try and copy it and do something themselves, or take some of the ideas and concepts. But they don't say a word. And if you're in a club situation where it's all about social interaction, right, and talking to people, and you get the guy comes in there playing musical statues, just stands there, looking morbidly, looking really, morbid, and just not doing anything. It kills everything. Absolutely kills everything. And it's when you then get someone coming from one of these other virtual worlds, they walk into the place. They're like, well, I'm not going to say it's verbal diarrhea, but literally, they talk, they laugh, they joke. You can really get on with them. They're great. But the technical people you get aren't always in that environment or accustomed to that kind of environment. They're also the people with social anxiety. They're also the people that have social interaction issues and all those challenges and things out there too. And I'm not going to say that, that's entirely enough as well. And because you get that everywhere. But I'm just saying that in the main, I've found in other virtual worlds where people are less focused on the look and more about the personality, they talk a hell of a lot more.
But that was also 2008 when I joined. Well, I joined in 2006, but really
Oh wow.
logged in 2008. People were more sociable. We had fun, lots of fun in clubs, and I think you can tell with the oldies that because they've been there, so I think they are more sociable than new people joining now. Second Life, I think. Because and back then we didn't care as well about we cared about how we looked and we thought we looked great, but it wasn't the main focus. Like shopping today, like you have to go shopping, you have to look great, all these events and that. But back then it was more about fun, talking to people and have fun.
And it is you're right, it is the talking to people. It's you can talk to some people. We've talked about the people coming and not saying anything, right? How many times have you been in a club, right, where people don't say much at all or something, and then they just say, "Got to go, bye," and they hit the button and they're gone?
That's me.
Yeah. The point is, you think, well, hang on a minute. So, was it, if you had a conversation, was that conversation not meaningful to you? Did we not have any form of interaction on these things? Is the fact that I'm here, I might be wanting to say goodbye back to. If I was trying to say goodbye, if I was trying to say goodbye back to you, you've not allowed me to do that. You've basically just dismissed me with a wave of the hand and buggered off, and it's not very nice. We jokingly said that back in the day we used to have a thing like the 30-second rule, because it would take that long for people to sometimes to see the chat pop up in the chat and then physically type out and hit the return button to go back and say goodbye to people. These days people just don't care. They just go bang, gone, and it's horrible. I'd love to be able to see a bit more consideration and people from that point of view, because otherwise it just leaves you cold. You're thinking, so what are these people here for? It's a little thing, but I'm old.
But on their into clubs, I don't know. I think the mentality now is different from back in the days, though.
Yeah.
I think.
Or you're talking to someone, they just start ghosting you, and they talk to somebody else, and that's it.
Yeah, but we were going to clubs to be together and have fun, or maybe we were just party people. I mean, if you look at the real world. I love to party. My father loves to party. We're a family that loves to party. But then if I look at my son-in-law's family, when, we got together, they don't talk. They're just sitting there at the end of the table when we just joke and all that. But these days, I think people are not having so much fun. It's all private. They keep to themselves. And they're not engaged.
Yeah, there is that.
Well, I know that. Yeah.
They go to a club just to listen to music, and most of the hostess, I'm sorry, I know I've been attacked with that before, because I don't like tipping the hostess, because I don't think they're doing a great job most of the time.
Well, some of them just coast by. They spit out gestures, and they're
we went yesterday to a club. The whole time it was gestures, noises. We could not, Tanda and I were just like, okay, how do we mute that? We could not even hear the music. It was so
mute
noisy.
Sounds.
Yeah, we figured it out in the end, but it was just like, people, why? Why?
Unfortunately, part of hosting is gestures, and depending on which host you get, you might get one that's louder than others, but
it wasn't
mostly
just the
good
host,
hosting
it's
is
just
being
the
friendly.
People as well. Yeah, but they use HUDs most of the times anyway.
If you're just throwing gestures out, you're not hosting well. Not being
Well,
like
the
friendly.
point is, you think of the word. The word is host. So you're trying there to make people welcome. You're trying to be the host for them. You're trying to
Yeah.
interact. You're trying to fill in for all the things that the DJ, the person providing the entertainment, can't actually do because they're busy.
Right. Yeah.
So from that
but-
point
yeah,
of view,
yeah, but-
I'm sorry,
but
Chris.
then- Yeah.
From that, Chris, I beg to differ. I'm going to say that I think the host is almost as important as the person that's creating, if in a club situation, the music, because they're out there. However, if all they've got is 20 or 30 avatars sitting in front of them, staring at them, not doing anything, not talking, not interacting, what is that host going to do? And they've got to try and
I can
keep.
tell you.
They've got to try and keep it
can tell
lively.
you.
So,
Yeah.
well, I know you can. You can see them drawing pictures of dinosaurs and
no,
stuff like
no,
you were doing the other week.
No,
But,
no. So when we have like sort of a packed club, but I'm trying to talk to people like as groups. I'm trying to talk to people individually, and just no one's there. They're probably in IM, or they might have music on. They have another screen up. I do start doing the gestures like.
It's very easy for people to use gestures because they can't get any interaction out with people. It's very easy to people say, oh, I don't like such and such a place because all I hear is gestures and everything else. But you've got to ask the question, do you actually talk to the people? Because if you talk to them, they will talk back.
Yeah,
They will actually not use the gestures because they're too busy talking to you. Hey, guess what? You've actually cut your own throat. Hang on. You've actually just cut your own. You've actually just cut your own throat here because you're not talking to them and you're forcing them in a position where they're having to use something to be able to keep the voice going.
Sorry, I disagree.
I disagree too.
It's not,
I disagree.
I'm sorry. It's not necessarily the guest's obligation to speak first. That's what the host is there for, to be friendly and make everyone feel welcome, even if they're a little shy.
Yes, Clara, but
gestures and the over gesturing, if it's done, should be done after they check with even in a packed club, after they check with each person and make sure nobody's like there and just being shy.
Exactly, Clara. That's in an ideal world. But what I'm saying to you is, if they're talking and no one's answering them at all, what is that person going to do? And this is what I'm saying.
Leave, because that's what I've been doing.
The host can't leave. The host is trying to make the people feel welcome.
Keep the energy up and keep it lively, and that includes gestures. As a guest, if you're not being spoken to, that's a poor host if they didn't even try.
There's a great moment.
I've done that many times. Said something in the public chat and a local chat, and nobody answers to me, so I leave. But the thing is, a lot of people always says, "Oh, I don't look at local chat." Not many people look at local chat, although
it's like that great moment in that film, if you remember it, American Werewolf in London, where these two Americans go into this pub in northern England, and they open the door. It's a rather creaky place. It's pouring hard with rain because it does that in that part of England. And they open the door and they go in, and the pub stops, and everybody stares at them, and they don't know what to do. No one speaks to them. No one says a word. There's no music playing. Everyone just stares at them, and they think, "Oh my God, what do we do?" I won't say what happens because in case some people haven't seen that film, but that's the kind of situation you often get when you go into certain places in Second Life. And it's very intimidating. And yes, you're quite right. You will leave. But if you're the guy that's hosting that, and you're trying to get people to stay there, you're trying to generate some social interaction and some people doing all those things, how are you going to do it? So I'm going to say that, yes, a host is important because the DJ hasn't got time to do all that.
So you keep saying, how are you going to do it? And I'm answering because I do it like 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't know.
Fluff Paul, you're right. You're right when you talk in terms of filtering friends and doing that kind of thing. That's great. If you're not on that friends list because you're a new person, you're never going to get on that list because they're never going to see you. They're never going to talk to you. So it cuts both ways, I think. And you're right, Clownie, I think you're right. I'm with you too. The local chat should be carried by the host, but not exclusively by the host. Because
exclusively, but the
it is
host needs to
also
make
hard.
the effort.
the host is there to generate people and make them feel welcome. They're there to
Yes.
represent the club. They're there to set the atmosphere. They're not there to be the party. They're there to help
But
stimulate
no
the party.
one, no
I
one
ne-
is
I
obligated to
never-
make the
I never
effort for
feel
that
welcome.
except the host.
I never feel
Yeah.
welcome in
This-
a club. I can tell you that much.
This is
Well,
if
come to our
if I
club.
go back to explain something I said a couple. If I go back to say something about something I talked about a couple of minutes ago, we talked about drawing dinosaurs. I'll just explain that because it sounded quite funny. It was actually funnier than it sounds. Clara hosts in this particular club sometimes, and one of the things that she sometimes does is she goes on and has a look and see what's the national day for the day. And this
Yeah,
particular
that's my
day, she
thing, I
came
think.
up and she looked at it and it came up with, it was National Draw a Dinosaur Day. So we're all talking about dinosaurs and let's draw a dinosaur. And Clara merrily went away, freehand and in paint, drew a dinosaur. And it was probably the worst dinosaur you've ever, as you'd expect. It was the worst dinosaur you could ever expect. It looked like something drawn by
All
about
of
a
my
3-year-old.
dinosaurs are anatomically correct as well.
Well, let's not go. Let's not go there on that because I mean there were some there that had more than 4 legs. Let's put it that way.
I think she needs more wine.
But it looked absolutely. We had people crying with laughter in there, looking at these things, and then coming back. It was absolutely hysterical. But that's how you can get people to start interacting with people. And in fact, I know that because it's happened. I've seen it happen. You've gone back to the draw a dinosaur thing a couple of times since as well, because it's just the way it works.
Literally ask. Oh, excuse me, not naming names. Someone literally asks for it, so I do it.
It's funny. It's funny, yeah. But I think they're our team. You've got the little Rottweiler in the background keeping an eye.
Random.
You've got the little Rottweiler in the background keeping an eye on things to make sure people aren't going to try and destroy the atmosphere or grief people or do things like that. You then got the person creating the music, creating the vibe and the club and everything else from that. And the other person that is there, who's the host, is also there to create the vibe. They're there to represent the happy face. They're there to make people feel welcome. As someone comes in, they say something, they make them feel special. They can stimulate a conversation. They keep the conversation running. They do all the things that DJ, the person creating the music or whatever, can't do. That's what it's all about. And when the two of them work together as a team, you really start to have the beginnings of a nice place to go to. But and when you get that, then actually the environment that you're in becomes less important because people are focusing on the people rather than what's around them, and that's great.
That's true. Yeah.
But just walking into a place and standing there and looking, morbidly in morbid suspense, isn't going to get you any favours. It isn't going to get you friends. It isn't going to get you anybody else. People are just going to stare at you and think, who the devil's that? And I don't think that gets any people anywhere. So I'd love to see more interaction with people.
Yeah.
I'd like to take it back.
The people, usually when you go to a club, a lot of people go to clubs to meet other people rather than, you can go with your friends, I've done that before, but a lot of the time you go to clubs to meet people.
Yeah. So, how are you going to do that if you don't talk to people? Is it just a question you're going to look through and you say, well, that one over there's got a nicer avatar than that person over there, so I'll talk to them. And then, come on, guys. I know people do that. This is why I'm saying it. Is it then going to be the question of saying the person with the biggest wallet has got, because the person that's spending the most of money or the most of time and attention on their avatar is the person that's got the most attention from other people? It shouldn't be that way. And I think, people will complain about it. People will say, this isn't right. People will say, I want this and want that. What you've got to sometimes look at yourself as well and think, is this something I can do that can actually help provoke that and stimulate that? And then it might actually start to come about. Just my 2 pennyworth. That's just me, but there we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're right though.
Yeah.
But no, don't.
I'm all for
draw that. Just telling me.
I'm all for draw a dinosaur day.
Right. Yeah. That would be
I'm all for Draw a Dinosaur Day. I think Draw a Dinosaur Day is one of the greatest things I've seen this year coming out of Clara, which she's been hosting. It's been absolutely brilliant. The next one coming up, I know the next one I know, which is coming up in a couple of months' time, is Talk Like a Pirate Day. And I don't just mean. I don't mean people that are just sit there going, hardy har, and all that. But there's a lot of jokes and one-liners that can come out of that. And if you really go for it wholeheartedly, then yeah, it can be absolutely hysterical. There's other things out there too. There's little things like that.
Day today?
Yeah.
Is it something today? Because I'm sure there's something every day.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
What is the-
Yeah.
what is
In
the
a country
flavor of the
somewhere,
day
there is
today?
something absolutely hysterical going on right
Hang
now.
on.
Yeah,
I can show you. So what
find
is
it? What is today? Today's the
Is it-
here it's the 6th of
is it-
April.
it's the 6th. Okay. There's a few here. It's National Siamese Cat Day,
Oh,
National
okay.
Student Athlete Day, New Year's Eve. It has to do with Prohibition. Army Day, Boring Opiates Syndrome Day,
Okay.
California Poppy Day, Chakri Day, Chakri
Wow.
Royal Family of Thailand, Drowsy Driver Awareness Day, Evolution of Dance Day, Fresh Tomato Day, Geologist Day, Good Deeds Day, International Day of Sport for Development and Peace, Jump Over
I don't
Things
know-
Day.
I don't know where you're
National
seeing all these,
Day.
Clara.
It goes on and on.
I'm looking at one here that says it's National First Contact Day, which is a great way. We're talking
So
in terms
that
of this.
was-
It's,
Oh,
That
first
was April
contact
5th.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, that has to do with Star Trek. That was
Oh,
April 5th.
okay.
no, it's First
Wait.
Contact. It commemorates a day in the future. The actual date is supposed to be the 5th of April 2063, which is the point at which we're supposed to be making first contact with aliens. And this is what they're saying. But when we
Okay.
talk in terms
I
of
mean,
the new
who says we
experience
haven't
coming to second,
already?
when we talk in terms of the new when we talk in terms of the new experience of people coming into Second Life, here we are, first contact. So again, you could probably merge the two
actually-
that way.
I've talked to people who are genuinely brand new and who come from other like virtual games like Second Life. And
Yeah.
they say things like, we are really elitist, we are judgmental, we are mean, and it's like,
Correct.
Oh yeah. We
Yeah.
get a lot of well.
we don't
And
mean
this-
it,
and
we don't want to be. I think mostly we don't trust each other because of because a lot of people on SL are unscrupulous.
But this is what I've just been saying, because I've been in other virtual worlds and I've come into Second Life, and yes, people in Second Life have less social skills. They do not interact as much. They're all about the look. They do tend to. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to apologise if I upset anybody. They tend to look down their nose and sneer at the people that don't look as good as they think they can be. And
True.
it may simply be those people haven't got the technical skills to do it, or they don't know how, or they just simply aren't as experienced. But they get judged for that, and I think that's a real shame.
Especially the ones that wear clown nose. Like, seriously, why would you want to wear a clown nose?
Hey, don't knock Clownie. He's a
Yeah.
friend. Sorry, Clownie.
Yes, let's bring him down, okay? The clownspiracy.
Yeah.
Why is he wearing?
I mean,
a
so I think
clown
you're
nose?
right. I mean, I think you're right. It's why people are cautious about initiating confrontation. I think you're right.
There
voice
aren't any
sims.
good voice sims left.
Well,
I-
we're in a sim
yeah.
right now, Clownie. We're not in London. This does not look well. Actually, London doesn't look like London because I know London because I don't live far from it in the real world. I'm sitting here in another sim right now. We've got voice running. We can talk to you. We could hear you if you were here. Hint, hint. We're here. We're waiting for you. So we could have conversations here, and it's.
I've heard people coming with Kira. We used to do our inventory in public sims sometimes. We just stand there doing our inventory and talking on local chat, and people would join in. But the problem is now most people saying, "Oh well, Second Life has a bad chat," so
Make
they
me
all
log
talk
in.
on they talk on Discord. People
Yeah,
prefer to talk on Discord. That's the issue.
I'm not a fan of keep taking things out to other applications outside Second Life to do things which are fundamentally part of Second Life. I mean, I know, like, okay, Discord, it's for gamers, it's for kids, right? And everybody's now starting to use it for other things. There are some great, sharing elements and community elements working in Discord. And yes, you can customize it and put your stars and stripes and all that thing in the background and make it look really impressive. I'm as guilty as anybody because I've done that on my Discord. But that being said, there's other things out there. It's not everybody has got a mic. Not everybody can actually talk. People have got laptops, and laptops have got mics in. Sometimes people can be dealing things through, Teams, or not. I was about to say Skype, but Skype's not being used. Teams or Zoom, or people that
Skype,
work remotely,
It's
and they
closing,
have.
Skype is closing down on the 5th of May.
Yeah, it is. It's moving to Teams, isn't it? So, no, Skype is shutting down.
Shutting down.
So. Yeah, so some people have got those things and they're wired in separately to be able to handle those things. But does that therefore mean that if I'm sitting here with a desktop buried under my desk, that I therefore have a mic to be able to talk to somebody? Because not everybody does. And I don't think that it should be viewed as being a symptom of being someone that's deficient or a bot or something in that kind of way. Maybe simply they can't do it.
So people who say, like, if you don't voice, I can't trust you, that's their own problem. You don't have to voice for anybody, even if you have the equipment.
I think it cuts both ways.
For many things.
I think it cuts both ways because actually I'm very wary of people I voice with. Because one of the things which I have got in Second Life is I've got terms of service, I've got community standards. If someone puts something in the chat which is offensive or griefing or whatever, I can pull them up on it. If they do it in voice, it's banned. I can't stop them, and they're just going to carry doing that. So do I want to have that? No.
That is a good point.
I don't. I think there's good sides. There's pros and cons to everything. I think it's just a question of people being.
If you're on a voice chat and you don't like somebody what they're saying, you can just walk away. Though it's like in real life, you can't agree. Some people say crappy thing. You just walk away or. Well, actually, in chat here you can mute them and block them. In real life, you can't do that.
Yeah. But some people, as I say, simply don't actually have mics, and it's great to be able to push people towards a situation where you've got a great looking avatar, you can actually talk and you can actually hear people doing that way, and hey, you could even have an AI bot doing it too. But at the end of the day, not everybody has that luxury, and I don't think they should be. I don't think that they should be disallowed from having some of the breadth of experience that the rest of us have, simply because they don't have the ability to physically speak. And in fact, on that subject, I actually know someone, and I've heard of someone that can't speak because they have a disability, which means they can't do that. Now, that doesn't mean to say they're not genuine, because they're a very genuine person. They're great, but if you follow the rule that anybody you can't voice with is going to be not to be trusted, then I don't think it's very fair on them either. It's so that people need to be aware, I think, and people it's a temptation to be very judgmental, I think, on some people sometimes when they have slightly different challenges. This environment to your own.
Second Life, though, because we had the same issue on Xbox when we're trying to do a raid and someone doesn't have a mic, and even party, when they invite you to do a raid, they say mic is not optional. So sometimes you have party invites which are mic optional, but sometimes you have to have a mic because we're about to do a raid. You need to be able to communicate. So it's not just mic issues.
Well, it's a slightly different situation, though.
No, but people are just can be nasty if you are on Xbox and you don't have a mic sometimes you don't need a mic, but sometimes people just want to be chatty. If you're coming to our team, you need to be able to talk and have fun with us. People don't like people that do not talk and just have the excuse to have no mic. I've been there before. I've heard it. People can be nasty.
I mean, I'm a Brit, right? We've got a certain sense of humour that is undeniably British. It's full of irony. It's full of sarcasm. We call a spade a shovel, to quote a phrase. We say things as they are, and we can say things, and we can say things very deadpan from a text point of view, and we're actually rolling on the floor laughing here at what we're actually doing here. And it's so often the case that people don't get the joke. It's actually quite embarrassing. And then you get a whole howl of derision thrown back at you. How can you say that? You have no respect. You are so rude. I can't stand it. You're disgusting. And then they want to block you, ban you, chuck you out, whatever. And we just sit there just cracking a joke. And you're thinking, oh, for God's sake, please. And yet the British people in the place are falling about laughing because they get it. And it just shows how attitudes and the way people articulate themselves can vary from country to country. And again, if you then start putting some of the British jokes through translators, my God, if you get some guy that's Greek or Italian or something, and they don't really get it either. We often joke here to say that Germans haven't got a sense of humour. Actually, the Germans have got a pretty good sense of humour. I'm going to say that because I know a few Germans. There's one she talks to me quite often in Second Life too. They get it. But if I actually say things, if I actually say things in text to the same people, they don't always get the joke. If they're talking to me, they can hear me killing myself laughing in the background here and sniggering away, and they get it. But it's just funny how people don't always do that, and then they'll jump down your throat for getting the wrong end of the stick. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't get jokes most of the time. It takes me
I know,
half an hour.
I know.
I'll probably laugh later, like 40 minutes later. I'm just, I get it.
Same.
I'm a bit slow. I'm a bit slow at times.
Well, that's because you're French. That's because you're French,
What?
Chris, and you're adorable. So don't worry about it.
Excuse me.
What about me? I'm not French.
I'm gonna say one other thing actually, Chris. Despite the fact we have a joke about France in the UK here. We talk, we say it's a lovely country. It's beautiful. The food is wonderful. The weather's warm. The scenery is fantastic. We say there's only one thing wrong with France. It's got full of French people. And actually, if you go to some parts of Paris where they get particularly Napoleonic, you kind of see where that attitude comes from. But actually, at the end of the day, we just take people. If you take people as you find them, I think it's completely fine. And one of the things I do know as a British person is that when we talk to people in Australia, I guess probably go back generations, we're probably all interrelated anyway, a lot of us, but they get us and we get them, and we can crack as many jokes with Australians as they can with Brits, and we get that. But it's interesting how that doesn't translate to other parts of the globe where those people speak English.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Brits in Australia though. When I went to get my citizenship, I swear 99% of the people at the ceremony were Brits getting their citizenship for Australia.
Yeah. They've all got sick of living in England. It's not surprising if you know what's going on over here at the moment.
And I was the only French there, so
I know that people have probably been sniggering, thinking, "Oh my God!" With the things that have been happening in the UK the last few years, no one of the Brits want to get out, and then you kind of look at it and thinking, "Jesus, have you seen what's going on in the USA right now?" And I'm thinking, well, "Okay."
I want to get out of the US.
We're just sitting here with
turkey.
Yeah, we're just sitting here with popcorn, thinking, okay, with the last person out, please turn off the lights. It's going to be crazy. But anyway, I'm joking because I'm now going to get lynched by a whole load of Americans for saying that. So I will say I apologise. But this is my British sense of humour. We see the funny side of things sometimes, and I think. Do
you really?
Yeah.
It's more laid back.
Yeah, I'm only kidding.
We do have a laugh. Clara will tell you I can walk into a store where she is, and I can stop the store simply by saying hi.
When he's over here with me. Yeah. He's like, it's almost like having a famous person on my arm. It's crazy.
It is funny.
Talk, and they just drop everything and stare at him practically.
Yeah, this is sort of sit there, and yeah, you get to go, oh, please don't stop talking. Whatever you do, don't stop talking. I said, all right,
Right?
I'll carry on talking then. Or I'll just walk up to someone and they'll be all aggressive and officious about something, and I just look at them and smile and say, "Hi, can you give me a hand with something here?" And they just, "Oh my god!" And they just completely freeze, and they just completely change in 1 instant, and that's it. But yeah, it's just the way it's just the way people are, I guess. It's just I'm probably if I go to deep Texas where Clara is, then they probably don't expect to hear a British guy every 5 minutes, like I get. But similarly, also, if when Clara comes over here to London, and that's she's going to be a bit of a special too. So it goes around. Oh my goodness, here we go. Here's another section, another thing that we talked about a few weeks ago, where we talk in terms of verification and voice and people pretending to be people that they're not, and that, and romance and stuff.
Yeah,
this is a second life, right? This is a second life. If you want a date, then go on to Match.com or Bumble or Tinder or whichever flavour you want to go
Andy,
it on,
we found each
and
other
find
on
a date.
here. Don't even play.
Yeah, I'm going with that. Yeah, but if you want to use Second Life as a pure dating site, then yes, I understand why you want to know that the person is who they think they're going to be. I'd love to think that lovely 5'2", blonde-haired, sexy-looking girl with a fantastic voice isn't.
Yeah, you are.
Isn't a 55-year-old 22-stone numpty with a bearded upper lip and a speech impediment. I get that, and I think that's really just a question of people being open with other people. And I don't think it's, if they can't be open, I don't think it's a question of a symptom of saying that they're not to be trusted. Maybe they don't trust you, which is why they don't want to open up to you. Ever thought of that? I think it's just a question. You need to. We had this conversation weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, didn't we? And we talked about it. And I think what we ended up saying, drawing to the conclusion at the end of it, was, it's a question of people to, be open with as much as they can be accepted for as much as they can be, work together with other people as much as they can do, and at some point there has to be a level of trust. Always.
So wait. I can actually speak about this from experience because I have an ex who is a man in his 30s who likes to be a sexy cat girl online. What it is, for him, it's for RP, and he is clear with people that it's only RP and he doesn't want to talk real life stuff. And in that case, that's fine. It kind of lets the person know we're just staying in the fantasy, and if you don't like it, you can just go. Now, there's other instances where people pretend to be a female and really drive it home, and someone catches feelings and they carry on a relationship, and then they find out, oh wait, you lied to me. That is a huge deal. That is not okay. I mean, it's one thing, like, if you want to pretend to be something online but not have anyone know, but you don't want to harm anyone, there's a way to do that. But if
people get attached.
But if you don't care about others' feelings, that's where there's problems.
It's still lying, though.
That makes sense.
If you're trying to be
somebody else, it's lying, but like so my ex, he's an RP. Like, he meets people who want to also participate in a fantasy. Both parties know that it's a fantasy, and usually the other party doesn't ever ask if he's really a female because they don't want to know. They want the fantasy. But if they ever do ask, he basically says, no RL. And he's not trying to get in relationships with people. He's not trying to fool anybody. He goes to spaces where people want the fantasy, and if the odd person thinks they might want something more, he sets that boundary right away, and oh, I'm not talking real life. We're staying in this space.
Yeah, well, as long as
Does that make
their
sense?
boundaries, yes, set, that's fine. But
Yes.
most of the time,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's not trying to trick anyone.
Yeah, yeah. And you have a lot of profile as well. They do mention, yeah, there may be a male avatar, but they will mention that behind the male avatar there is a female. So some people do mention it occasionally.
Just because some people abuse the fact that they, that they have privacy and they want to use it for something slightly more unscrupulous, doesn't mean to say that everybody does.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
That's the thing. You've got to take the person as you find them. There has to be an element of trust with the whole thing there, and you've just got to take things easy. You don't automatically apply criteria and say that because this guy won't visit, because this person won't talk to me, I'm not going to trust them.
Well, yeah, like there's
there might be a reason. There might be a reason for it. So yeah.
Well, or the person might just not want to talk to you. Also, like there's been more than once in Second Life, when like I go somewhere and people there, and I meet somebody, and I'm not feeling their vibes, and they want a voice, and I say no, and if they push, I'm still gonna say no, and they can choose. They can decide that makes me untrustworthy. That's fine. I don't want to voice with them, And you can hear in my voice, I am a female. I know that I'm a female.
She's
I don't want anything to do with them.
She's lying. Trust me.
Yeah, I got it.
She's a dude. She's a dude.
Actually, you say that you can deep fake voices now. I've heard some people that can do a fantastic impression of Donald Trump, and it's simply because they've got this voice changer software, and it does it. And it's amazing when the software actually messes up, and suddenly their voice changes from being Donald Trump into who they really are, and then switches back again. You're thinking, where the hell did that come from? It's funny. I've heard it actually with guys using female voices as well, and then switching back, and it's a weird situation. And AI is getting really, really good at that now. You can physically talk, and as you are talking, you can actually see an avatar or video mimicking the person or the persona of the person you're trying to take on, to do that with their voice and everything.
I didn't know it's that advanced now.
They do it in the movie industry. They do it in the TV industry.
Then it's all the more to the point that voice doesn't necessarily verify anyone as anything, and just either they want a voice or not.
Exactly, and that's the point. So you've got to have an element of trust, and have parameters and set those things. You can't just simply apply criteria saying because this person can't talk to me. They might not have a mic. They might have a speech impediment. They might have whatever. They might be fantastic.
Just not want to talk to you.
Well, there is that too. In which case, they probably you're not going to get very far. But you've got that lurking in the background. You've just got to, we are real people here. We do live in a real world. We have exactly the same challenges in the real world as we are in this thing. So, guys, let's just treat it as a real world, because effectively, the more real you make it, the more way you interact with people on this world, the way you do in the real world, more realistic and the more believable and more authentic, and the better experience it's going to be for you. Unless, of course, you want to be, I don't know, some kind of furry animal and stuff, in which case I haven't got much experience of being a hedgehog, for example, but hey, I can probably look like a hedgehog if I found the right store in Second Life, and I'm sure I could probably do all sorts of things that hedgehogs do, but it will be a very idealistic point of view on these things. I tell you how crazy I am right now. I'm sitting here with a big screen, right, with all of us sitting here, well, with the three of us talking around this table. No one's come and seen us yet. I feel a bit sad about that, but anyway.
I've invited a couple of the people.
But I'm sitting here also
because
there's a buffer thing going on here. I've actually got YouTube up, and. Oh yeah, thanks. Prisoners maybe a moderator. Wow. And basically, I'm sitting here looking at YouTube, right? And I've obviously spent too long in Second Life because I'm clicking on the YouTube thing and trying to get myself another glass of wine. I'm thinking to myself, where did I go wrong here? It's not working. I suddenly realised I spent the last 20 minutes clicking on a YouTube video and wondering why it keeps stopping and starting rather than actually thinking I'm actually dealing with Second Life. This is how stupid I am. But hey.
D has a good point here. It's a second life. Maybe people want to experience stuff they wouldn't in their first life. I think we all
Correct.
do that. I mean, I have 3 houses.
Well, that means something different to me. Because I have, not going to get too deep, I have a spinal condition. Basically, 90% of the time I can do more normal stuff, but not a lot of it. And then like 10% of the time, I'm out. I'm down for the count. Yeah. And Second Life opened up so much to me. I can ride a horse, I can ride a roller coaster, I can hike for however many hours I want if I have the time, and it's been wonderful for me in that aspect. But that's not quite what they meant.
Yeah.
The thing is, we do the thing that we can't experience in our first life, but we still real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can do, you can experience thing and pretend and do role play another lifestyle, which is fine, but there are the people like us that do things, like owning 3 houses, go horse riding, because we can't do it in real life and all that kind of thing, and we're still real people as well at the same time.
Yeah.
So do you have
you're right. You're talking in terms of an obligation to tell people that. No, you don't.
No.
Clara does. I knew that when I went over to see her. We set up a whole lot of things for me to see what was going on around where she was, and we adapted what we were doing to make it to fit so she could carry on and spend the time with me doing that, and that is too, which is great. Who's owed the information? Well, should anybody be owed that information?
No.
So
I think...
Andy and I, we have a relationship, and we both felt very serious. Well, we still do. But somewhat early on in the relationship, we both felt like this is something we want both in Second Life and real life. And when it's something like that, that's very serious to you and the person that you're interacting with, I think that no matter how hard it is, you should be honest.
Yeah.
But it's always a choice, though. It's always a choice. You choose, what you want to
If I go to a bar or a pub, that's my Brit. Or if I go to a club or something like that, I meet somebody that in that place. I think they're nice, and I say, let's go out for a drink, or let's go out, for a meal or something like that. And we're getting on well like a house on fire. Do I know that they are who they say they are? Do they have an obligation to tell me who they are? Because they're standing in front of me, smiling at me, and I'm smiling back at them. The answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
Do they have an obligation to put that information up there, like a profile plastered on their, like a badge on their breast or something, on their chest, basically to say, here's I am, this is what I do, and I have to read that profile before I can gauge who they are?
Well, no, but you try to trust that people are being honest with you in these real life scenarios.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what happens in the real world. Second Life is no different. So we can't. No, it is not. So you have no guarantee that the people that you're talking to are who they actually say they are, unless you have a willingness for them to give the information. Doesn't mean they have an obligation to give you that information. You might want them to be obliged to do that, but just like that person I'm meeting in the bar or the club or something, I want them to tell me. I want them to like me. I want them to be who they say they are, because I think they're great. But at the end of the day, I have to trust a little bit who they are, just like they have to trust that I'm not the proverbial axe murderer.
So it's like this. So it's like this on two opposite ends of it. You and me, Andy. It's even before almost especially before we met each other in person. it was important that we be honest with each other about these things and hopefully everything, because we wanted something real. But
Yeah.
but on the other side of things, if I meet someone in a club and they want to, or club or anywhere, hang out in Second Life, they want to voice with me, I can say no. And I can also, like, it's not their business if I'm male or female. If I don't want to give that kind of information, I don't have to.
Yeah, but
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as it would be in the real world. You've just got the added dimension as to, you are an avatar in front of them, and they're looking at an avatar, and are you actually the same person as the avatar? That's for you to know, and that's for you to be open with them. To be honest with you, there's no obligation for that. I'm.
no, she should say.
I've got a pet.
She
I've
should
got.
say
I've got a
first.
pet hate in Second Life right now. The number of people that just stand and, well, firstly, the people that come into a place and stand and stare, and then you later transpires that the reason they're standing and staring is that all they're doing is looking at profiles, and they're people watching. They just read a profile and they go away. And you think, so what's this all about? And I'm kind of thinking, you know what? And then you read profiles, you see people like, I'm this, I'm that. Here's my family. Here's my person. Don't touch with me. This is my mafia. I'll cut you if you do this. And you're thinking, what the hell?
Oh yeah, that stuff.
All
It's
that.
dangerous.
And well, yeah, but how much of that is real and how much of that is wishful thinking?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
but, and the
So
thing
many
to
profiles,
answer,
so many profiles. I've seen the same thing. How many people have got a dog on their profile to show they care? How many people have got a bunny on there? People copy stuff from one profile to another. How do you know
Yeah, they
the
do.
person you are dealing with is the person? You can't have a clue who that person is by the profile. It's like, oh God, if you go down the supermarket and you buy a tin can, right? On the label it says it's a can of beans. You get it home, open up the tin can, you find it's got corned beef in it. Are you going to know that it's got corned beef in it by reading the label?
Well, right, but people are not cans, and if you take someone home, hopefully they've already been honest with you. They should.
Yes,
be
but you
honest
know
with
where
you.
Yes,
but
but you know
thing
where I'm
is,
going with it.
I've had my flatmate who was on Tinder, and he was talking to this chick, and that's to answer the question with D. He was talking to this chick, and they finally decided to go on a date. He came back an hour later, and he said to me, he thought it was a girl, and it was a guy that showed up. And the guy said to my flatmate, "Oh, I didn't know how to tell you." But the thing is, my flatmate just said bye, didn't want to hear any excuses or anything. He just went home and said, "Yeah, no, thank you." So lying
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
work. Like it's not just Second Life; it happens in real.
I've heard it happen. A person's talking to someone on a dating site, and they sat and have a conversation with these people, and they hadn't got a photograph of the real person. Okay, kind of a red flag, but hey, you tend to want to know who you're talking to. And it got to a level in the conversation where he'd actually said to this girl, can I have a photograph? And it's, well, why do you want a photograph? And at that point, they started thinking, hello, like, get a bit objective here. So why do you want a real photograph of me? And as he said, it was quite legitimate. Well, if I'm walking down the high street and you're walking to me in the other direction, it would be nice not to walk past you and think you were somebody else. Because it fundamentally goes as much as that. And they said, well, okay then. And then after about 15 minutes or so, okay, I'm sending you a picture. And they said yes. And as the picture arrived, they punctuated it with a statement, "I just want to be respected for the person that I am." The guy opened the picture, and it was well, as he said to me, he said, well, the dress was a nice summer Laura Ashley dress, which was nice. The beard was a bit of a giveaway.
I went on a date once. The guy had the picture, okay, and when I went on the date, so he was always taking the picture from one side, okay. All the pictures were from one side.
Oh, it was his good side.
And yes, when I met him, he had actually
It wasn't.
something wrong on the other side of the face.
I was going to say, was it like this Two-Face character in Batman or something where he's got like a really ugly side and a really good one?
It was like, I mean, luckily my friend had told me, she said, oh, I knew this guy, so she had warned me. So, but somebody who had not been warned, like, it was pretty shocking. Like, I was just, okay, it is very hard not to stare for a start. But yeah, and to me that was a bit of a lie.
Pimentel, I'm with you. You said to me the hot girl smiling at you at the club, dancing with you is a man behind the avatar. Should she not flirt? Should she tell you immediately? Should she tell you later? Well, okay, let's think about that for a second. In my view, we've all talked about Second Life and how everybody has the right to be whatever they want to be. They can be human, animal, vegetable, whatever they want to be, and a lot of people sometimes are. And, you know, it's their right. Some people want to go role play. So we get people that want to be some kind of mafia person, or they want to be a vampire, or they want to be some kind of ghost, or they want to be a snail. I was in a club yesterday and saw a snail. It was quite amazing. And on the bar, and I thought, oh, it's a snail. You know, well, that's interesting. How does a snail drink beer? You know, because actually, I've got snail traps I've had snail traps in the garden, and I put beer in the thing, and the snails fall in and drown. So how that snail was going to make it in the bar, I had no idea. Anyway, I digress. People have a right to be whoever they want to be, and they can role play who they want it to be. I guess you could also say that a man wants to role play as a woman, and therefore, under that kind of principle, he has every right to do so. However, there then comes the line when the person that he's talking to may start to get sucked in and believe that the guy is not role-playing, but actually doing something in reality. And I think it's a question of transparency, and it all boils down again to transparency and trust. When people are playing games with you, you can't expect anything serious out of it. Some people play Second Life for serious reasons. Some people play Second Life for gaming and role play. And role play it's not real, is it? It's a role play. You're playing a role. It's not real. So
you're telling a fiction with someone else. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can't expect someone then to say that role play is real, because it's not. And if you're then going to say that, you know, a guy role playing a woman is not real, correct, he's not real. He needs to be able to define the fact and make it abundantly clear at some point that the person is not the person that they say they're going to be. And you're going to kind of get that as the time goes on. It's just a question of taking the people, be open, be transparent, trust. It's exactly the same thing as if I go into that bar down the road and see that hot girl standing at the bar there. I don't know if she's got a dick or not, unless she opens her legs. Yeah, and she's not going to do that in a bar. So yeah, it's just like the same in Second Life.
So I mean, like if you meet a chick in a bar, the time for her to say something, if there is something, is probably about when one of you whispers, "Let's go home." Then she should say, "Hey, there's something you should know about me." Or if one of you says, "I'd like to, you know, take you out for coffee properly," or whatever. Well, there's something you should know about me first. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hard thing to do, but it's kind of it's so that you don't potentially break someone's heart. Some people don't mind someone who walks gender lines. And some people do. And it's really not fair to a potential partner, if you're walking a gender line, to not at least tell them.
Yeah. I hesitate to put this on Pris's stream, but I'm going to put it. What the hell? I'll probably regret this later. I'll probably regret this later in life. Many years ago, in my clubbing days, real life clubbing days, I used to go to a rather select club in London, a very well known one. Lots of celebrities used to go there. Used to hang around with these people, and it was my birthday. And a bunch of the guys I hung around with, some of the guys were dancers from videos and media, companies and stuff, such like. And the guys are like saying, "This is your night, bro. This is your night. We'll set you up." Because I'm never the guy that really. I'm more the guy that props up the bar. I'm not the guy that goes out openly flirting with people and pulling people, which is what they were doing. And it was the games that people play in Second Life in reality. And I must admit, I'm not the greatest person for that, despite the fact that a lot of people will look at me and assume that I probably am, and I'm not. It's just me. So I'm looking at this very attractive go-go dancer on the back of the stage there, and the guys are saying, this is your night, it's your birthday, this is your night, bro. You can do this. She's looking at you, she's smiling. And I say, yeah. He said, and the guys said, you're not going to go. You're going to miss it, aren't you? And I said, I just don't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to say. I was feeling a bit shy. Of course I was. And she looked amazing. And I thought, okay. And the guy said, tell you what, we'll go and put a word in for you. And off they go. And they went walking up to these guys, and they came back smiling. And they said, she's going to come over. This is your night. You go for it. Well done. Happy birthday. And they're sitting down. They're all smiling. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, great. And she comes up. And she looks absolutely stunning. She was vaguely Asian. And I thought, she looked great, but it looked absolutely superb. And she sort of looks at me and smiles, and I look back at her and I'm smiling. One of us has got to say something here. So in a rather sort of stammering almost, I sort of said, hi, great to see you. Keep seeing you up on the stage there. Love it. Guy said, do you want to see me? And she looked at me and smiled and kissed me and said, yes, happy birthday boy.
Oh my gosh!
And my mates in the club were falling about laughing at the absolute look of shock on my face, because I didn't realise that, yes, it was a trans op. And it's one of those things. We laughed about it because I used to be a regular at the club, and actually I saw them later as well. And Clown thinks that's hot. Okay, there we go, Clown. It was funny. I actually started getting on quite well with it. We didn't do anything after that. Obviously, I'm not that kind of guy. I just don't roll that way. But I can remember something. I think it was a couple of weeks later. I went to go into the gents, what you'd call the WC over in the States. The bathroom, whatever. And I go in there, and she comes in because there is a cigarette machine in there, and she needs to get it, and there wasn't a cigarette machine apparently in the ladies' one, so she's come into the men thing, and she's sort of standing there, and all the guys are staring and looking at her in shock, thinking, what the hell is she doing here? And then she just turned around and she said, this is nice. I can't do the whole voice again. This is nice. I haven't been to a place like this since the operation 3 years ago, and I'm thinking, fuck you. I mean, we all fell out laughing, but and she got it as well. It was just a fun thing after that. But it was there was I, as I say, at that point, up until that point on my birthday, thinking that this person was really someone nice, and it was actually fantasy that I could ever be with someone that looked as amazing as that. But there's always something, isn't there? And in her case, there definitely was. But anyway, right. Please bury this video under the internet, because I don't want this thing to come out in 10 years' time.
No. We're doing a short with that one. It's going to be a short.
No, you're not. Oh, please don't. I know you, Chris. You probably will. That's what I'm worried about.
Yes. When you're coming to my video, you are at risk. This is the risk you are taking.
It's like me sitting here just constantly clicking on a video rather than clicking on me in the Second Life and thinking, why the hell am I not drinking this wine? This is crazy. My God, has it been 2 hours? It has been 2 hours.
Yeah,
wow.
Holy crap.
Well, there we go. Guys, I'm really hoping.
Big as I love that.
It's great.
Sorry.
I mean, guys, what do we feel about these live streams? Do we enjoy this? I mean, we can do more of these. We can mix up with some of the chats that we've had on the boat here, parked up in places, and apart from looking for lighthouses, which I'm obliged.
Oh my gosh, we forgot the lighthouse.
No, I'm obliged. I'm obliged to mention
lighthouse.
lighthouses everywhere I go because it's a Second Life thing, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's lighthouses everywhere in Second Life. There's lighthouses in everywhere. There's lighthouses on the side of lakes. There's lighthouses in the valleys. Got to sound like Churchill now. There's lighthouses on the hills, on the valleys. There's a lighthouse there on the screen. Look, just zooming in on it.
Yes, I took it. Okay, let's see if there's another one.
There's lighthouses everywhere. People love lighthouses in Second Life, even where you can't put a lighthouse. So, and I just kind of see the funny side of all this, and I'm thinking, you know what? I keep seeing these things everywhere. You know? People put lighthouses around. I've seen people also quite like Stonehenge for some reason as well. So they put Stonehenge in a forest. You'd never ever put a solar temple in a forest because the sun never gets to it, which is kind of weird. I don't think that's a lighthouse, Chris. I think that's for bungee jumping or something.
I'm trying to see if there's another one, but yeah.
I think your draw distance needs to be a bit longer, but it's going to make it probably a bit more jerky if you do. But I think when I look around, there's a few other lighthouses around here. Short ones, tall ones, fat ones, thin ones. There we go.
What is this?
Honey, do you see this chat?
There we go. Clara's now taken that to a completely different dimension, as Clara would do. I know my Clara thinks so yeah. There we go.
All right,
yeah, so that.
Schwartz's.
So there's our obligatory comment about lighthouses then. So yeah. There we go. What's that? That's a mushroom. What is that?
That's
Trompe-l'œil. Trompe-l'œil. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Well, I don't know about the brand, but I'm talking about what it actually is. It's like some. Oh, I tell you what, it's a bit like something that I saw from one of Kat's pictures from Singapore. They had some of those things in a park somewhere. I don't know.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
We're talking about that big mushroom thing on the opposite side of the water from here.
This thing?
It's Trompe-l'œil. No, he's talking about one of the Trompe-l'œil buildings on
the buildings on the other side of the water.
On the
just cam up a second, Chris. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, where you were.
Go up. Go up.
Up.
Up a bit more. Up a bit more. Up a bit more. See it? On the top of that. There, that. What is that?
That is a fancy thing from Trompe-l'œil.
Okay. It's interesting. It's interesting. I have no idea what you could do with it. I mean, you couldn't live in it because the giraffe coming through the sides would be crazy.
Top.
But yeah,
it's a restaurant on top. I mean, it's tall, so it probably provides a really cool view depending on where you are.
Chris hasn't got a high draw distance.
Camming a private property.
I'm sure we could. I'm sure we could. I'm sure if Chris went for a longer res distance, we could see a lot more lighthouses. But I don't want to do this because I know it's.
I just did it like I'm at maximum draw.
Here they come. Here they come. Yeah.
This is maximum. This is why I'm.
I don't see them.
Lagging.
Oh well, never mind. Well, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
To Pris's credit, she's got to Pris's credit, she's got a lot of things going on there in the background right now because she's got several screens running with YouTube and she's recording all this and she's live streaming as well. And this all takes a lot of power out of a computer, and not everybody has a mainframe computer that can handle all this stuff and make it look really, really slick. Unlike some of the guys potentially in the Linden Labs who do that and then tell you how wonderful the whole thing is. And that's another little headache of mine. And I'll save that for another. There's a lighthouse in the back there. I can see it.
Two of them. Yeah.
There we go. More lighthouses. Amazing. Because I've been sailing. Right. I've been along the south coast of England here. You don't get a lighthouse for like 30 or 40 miles. Because they put them in obvious places. There's two there right in field of view right now. Look, I mean, if I was in bad weather going along in a ship, and I saw several lighthouses all shining at the same time, I wouldn't know where to go. I'd probably end up wrecking the ship. In fact, they used to have people to wreck the ships by putting little lanterns on donkeys and taking them along the cliff paths to where there were rocks, and the ship would blindly follow the light, thinking it was a lighthouse, and it wasn't. It was actually a bunch of guys that were wreckers, and they basically put the ship onto the rocks, and then basically killed the crew, or the crew basically evacuated the ship because the ship's sinking, and then they go aboard the ship and they take whatever they can find on it. And there's a lot of stuff if you go down to Cornwall and the southwest of England, where for generations people did that. It's you can go into the houses. The houses are made from the timbers of the ships. There's lots of things that have come abroad, and even now, when you get ships that get wrecked down there as well, one of the first things that a lot of people do is they head straight down to the beach and see what's been washed up. And it's been amazing.
A question.
Yes.
Go ahead, Clownie. Go ahead with your question. Quick. Oh, look at that! It's raising slowly, but it's raising.
Yeah.
The one at the back
that
raised
slow
first.
res. Yeah,
but the one at the back raised before this one. This is funny. Come on, Clownie, hurry up.
Time faster.
Bloody Aussies are so slow. If a white woman...
Clownie, I will be honest with you. Will we talk in terms of ask...
I know the answer to this because I did. I have a friend from Japan who showed me a good kimono for Valentine's Day for me and Andy. Kimono was for me. And I actually asked her that, and she said no, it's fine. And I think it was fine because I was respectful and I wasn't doing it as a joke. You know what I mean? So there's your answer.
Yeah. It's at the end of the day, people wear costumes, people wear stuff. I've got a dressing gown in the other room. I wear that sometimes when I'm getting out of the bath.
What?
You
know, pictures?
People. No, you don't. No, we're not going to go with pictures of that. But we all wear stuff like this. Sometimes. I don't think it's a question of trying to make some political statement out of it or cultural appropriation. People just wear this stuff sometimes. What can I say? If I wear a leather jacket, does that make me a biker? No. I've got a flight jacket. The other room.
Who come from these cultures will. Unless it's something like really sacred, they will, I think, usually say it's fine as long as you're not trying to make a joke of it.
Yeah. I went to Texas a year ago. I bought myself a pair of cowboy boots. Does that make me a cowboy? No. I went online when Top Gun came out. I bought myself a Top Gun jacket, just like Maverick. Does that make me a pilot? No. It's just... I've got a load of stuff from. I'm a Formula One fan.
No,
I've got a lot of stuff from Mercedes. Does that mean to say I work for Mercedes?
No, that's not.
I just like to wear those.
That's not what it means, though. It comes from it all stems actually from blackface. I don't know a more polite term, but that's where the idea originated, and now people see that happening with other cultures and stuff. Like people appropriating other cultures disrespectfully.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I had a gollywog, and a gollywog is right now to be seen aboard and burned at the stake whenever you see one. And to me, it was just like another teddy. I don't mind. Does that mean I'm racist? Does that mean I was brought up by a bunch of racists? No, I had a gollywog, and that was all I had. That doesn't make me any more or less a better person for it. So that's it. Snacky is lurching in the background. He's run away.
Oh, he did. No.
Oh, there he is. No, he's back. He's back. Here he is. He's actually in audible distance. Snacky, say hi. Please, Snacky, say hi. Snacky's just sitting there. Snacky's sitting down somewhere. Chris, see if you can zoom in on him. Come on. There's a bunch of people. They're all on voice there.
Hello. There you go.
Hey, just watching the stream, and then when I thought I couldn't come on by. So yep.
Oh, it's great to see you. Yeah. There you are.
Yeah.
There he is.
There you go. Say hello to Snacky.
Jump on over.
We're going to give you a glass of
if I don't
wine.
fall. Okay.
Yeah. He's got a life jacket. It's not, sorry, look like a life jacket. It's resing a different colour for me now. So, yeah, but, you know what I mean? I was about to say, if you want to take a jump onto the boat, you're more than welcome. But, you know, because you've got a life jacket in case you miss. But, oh, here we go.
Exactly.
There we go. There he is. Welcome. Good to see you. Someone said it would be great if we posted something on Flickr to start with. Grab a seat, by all means.
What?
Okay.
There were plenty of people out there, I think, saying, you know, have some ideas and something you can talk to. And to be honest with you, when we start these conversations, we usually do have a bit of paper with a few notes jotted on there, things that we want to talk about, maybe points that we want to make. So we don't.
Oh, you do. I'm not prepared.
Well, I
Sorry.
do. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because I could talk all night. I could talk all night if I'm not careful, and I want to try and structure it a little bit because I know that everybody else has got a day job to carry on with, or they want their lives to lead, and they don't want to listen to someone rambling away for 2.5 hours like we have been doing tonight. Anyway, but there we go. So,
By the way, Snacky, Clownie says
Yes. Oh yeah. Hi.
there he is. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is what we said.
Yeah,
this is what we said. We put
this
Sorry, Chris.
today we messed up because we completely. I got the time wrong, and Andy, you got the day wrong.
Yeah,
Because
we
you-
did.
cooking.
Yeah. So we
So you snacky?
usually we are prepared. We talk
Yeah.
about it half an hour before what we're going to discuss, and have a list and all that. But yeah, today
We do. So, but hey, this is the first time we've done something completely live. Cool, that's good. How do you do that? So I didn't even know that was in there. You showed me. I've
You
got
open
got
doors
this
here,
boat.
baby.
I've got this boat. I don't know half of what this boat actually does. I've got to be honest with you. So, hey, there we go.
A couple of these doors are open, like behind you, Andy.
Oh, I see. What's this? Oh, my lover Tunda is there. Oh, here we go.
I'll close them after 2 hours. There you go.
Yeah, Tonda had issues with his viewer. Is ordering a PC, so don't you worry, Clownie. He'll be there soon.
So
won't
what
have
we
an
did is
excuse.
we had the idea to basically have these chats, and we thought we'd try and release something maybe every couple of weeks, and that's what we've been doing more or less. Finding something that maybe a hot subject or something like that. Obviously, Pris is doing her other shorts and her other videos in between times too. And we thought, it's a great way of sort of taking something a bit more sort of down to earth, as a sort of common man point of view. And I don't mind talking a little bit, and neither does Clara, and that's been great. And then, say, Pris came along the idea. She said, "Would you make an idea if we did something live?" And we said, "Yeah, why not? It's more the merrier, because it's great. It's great that you can join us, obviously, Snacky, and
That's
we've got.
interesting. I've actually caught a couple of these here, so yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see you, and it's lovely to have people coming in and talking, and filling these times and hearing different points of view and sharing experiences and things too. It shouldn't always be about me and Pris and Clara, and it's great to have other people coming along too. Which is
Excuse me, it should be all about me, okay?
we should, no, Pris, we have these conversations every 2 weeks, right? You've got plenty of time to do all your other video stuff in between, so you've got the rest of the month to think about. But we talked about maybe doing something one of these things every once in a while. Maybe I don't know, maybe about, did we say every month or something like that? We do
No,
a
it
live
was
stream,
every-
something like that maybe. So
I think we should
okay.
do a live stream every time we do it. I think it's much more, unless we have a very a topic that we don't want to be distracted and stay on the topic. But I think the live is more engaging. People can ask questions. We can.
Yeah.
I think. I think I like the live stream better. But I mean, we can let it to the audience to decide if they prefer us to go live or.
Had a dozen odd people
Well,
watching right the way
the
through this.
people-
It was about 15 at one point, and I think that's great. I wish more people could be like you, and come and Snacky and come over and see us actually, and we can have a bit more chat.
Chris?
Clown sounds like a right laugh. It'd be even better if his lover
Yeah.
Tunda was there.
Alright, never
But that's obviously not Pris's lover, because Pris's lover is spelled a completely different way. But hey, we don't mind, the more the merrier. I think it'd be great. I think.
Nice. Yeah.
I think the fact that we're doing these things every fortnight or so is a great thing from our point of view. We can come along with something
the
that's
fact that you
the
call
point
it Fortnite is great.
and that kind of thing. And then maybe once a month we can do a live stream one. So like every other one, we can do a live stream, and we can say, you know, what did people think on what we've done in the 2 weeks ago, or just have some fun like we're doing tonight, maybe. Chris, this is your call because this is your channel.
I'll just put a poll. I will put up a poll and the people can decide, because people will watch the live stream later, especially if it's 2 hours. Some people will watch it after. So I'll put up a poll to see if they prefer live or recorded.
They'll probably come back and say, why couldn't you have just consolidated it to half an hour? Because frankly, spending 2 hours with you guys.
You can't do it.
I get that.
Yeah. But
and I will apologise that we have an empty table in front of us, because I can't actually res anything on this table because of where we are. If I've got some more public land and I've got res rights on it, then I could put a whole buffet out for everybody and we could all have a bit more fun with it. But hey, Chris has bought the beer, bought the alcohol, we don't mind. Clara's got her cocktail from last time. She's mixing it as well.
And a glass of wine. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're winning at life. We're winning at life. There we go.
Hell yeah.
Right.
I think this is
Chris,
cool.
I don't know if you want to round. I don't think you want to round this thing up or what you want to do, really, because we can talk all night.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes now. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We'll probably keep it down to about an hour next time, folks. We don't want to impinge too much on your real world time. It's too much. Plus the fact it's also 10 to 3 in the morning, my local time, so I will need to be going to bed fairly soon afterwards.
Oh, wow.
Here she goes again. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Stop being a weak man. Yeah, I have to tell you that.
Hey, it's Sunday. Okay. I admit it, but it's Sunday tomorrow, so hey, I'm gonna, I'll lie in and.
Exactly. You have time.
He's
to
gonna stay up with me tonight.
Yeah, and sleeping is overrated. Okay, who needs to sleep, really?
Yeah.
You're wasting time.
Stay up with me,
when you're
baby.
sleeping.
What's this? Clown wants 10 more minutes, or he's unsub. He wants to go for the full 2.5. Clown, why don't you come in? Clown, come and find us. Come and find us, Clown. We'd love to see you.
He's offline. He's not even logged in. Bloody clown. See, bloody clown. Yeah, he's hiding as usual with his nose. Yeah. I know
Does it make a car horn? Does it make a car horn sound?
It makes a little bike sound. Honka honka.
Yeah, imagine him driving he's Australian too, by the way, he's an Aussie. So, imagine him driving with his pink car. And his red nose. Waving at everybody with a beard head.
Oh, and it's a tiny car too, but all of his clown friends can fit in it.
And I bet Clown's got big shoes as well, right?
Yes.
You know what they say about that, though.
Definitely. And you know what they say about people.
It's as big as yours.
You know what they say about people with big shoes, right?
Their Schwartzes are as big as Clownies.
People with big shoes have got big feet. So that's it. So what can I say? I don't know why you got. I don't know why you lot are laughing. I just, it's a statement of fact, isn't it? Basically, big feet. Don't know what you were thinking. Anyway.
Pick on a clown day. Yeah, I think it was pick on a clown day. Yeah, today.
If he's not in fact a clown, he's either got a damn good sense of humour, or he works at McDonald's. And frankly, I wouldn't run anybody down for either.
Wait a minute. McDonald's is among the best paying employers for the type of job that those people do in America.
For the clown.
Yeah.
What?
For the clown. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Ronald?
No,
Ronald's probably separate.
Yeah.
I think there's been like 3 Ronalds. One of them was a pedophile, but the other 2 are probably set for life. I'm not kidding. That just slipped out. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you're ruining my channel.
All right. We're getting more people coming in now. Come on, guys. Come and say hello. They're all on voice. They can all hear us. I know that. So guys, I can see you guys out there. Come and say hello.
No, they're all coming. Oh, let's go and talk to them.
The whole idea of having a live stream and saying, "Come on, guys, come and say hello," is that you come and say hello. We've been keeping this conversation running for the last 2 hours, hoping that someone's going to come up and finally Snacky's turned up.
Snacky,
you're not invisible. We know you're.
I thought, what the hell? So, yeah.
Got 10 minutes. Okay, we're doing the 10 minutes, so we stop on the dot at 2:30.
I
want to see if his Schwartz is as big as he says.
What, Clownie?
Yeah.
Clownie, oh my gosh, he's coming.
Is he coming? Excellent.
You better have big shoes, Clownie. You better have the big shoes as well. Do not disappoint
yes.
us.
No one we did about the live stream. Because as you appreciate, we've got the boat here, and we've been doing things where we originally had the idea where we were going to sail along with the boat, and we found that actually sometimes we had some problems in rezzing things, particularly when we crossed sims, and it started getting a bit awkward. They can get a bit rocky, particularly when we're doing all the other things
really
with live
tricky.
streaming and recording, and then everything else at the same time. In the mainland, they've got these pods. There's a whole pod transport network, and we had a fantastic idea about us all grabbing hold of a pod and then just sitting here having a conversation from inside the pod, and you could actually film the whole thing as we were going along. There are two. Yeah, there is partly that. There are two-seaters, but the other side of it as well is that again, crossing the boundaries of the regions was really awkward. For those things, so it's more of a stability thing than anything else. We thought of that. We thought about doing something on a train too. That would be quite fun. We actually thought about doing something from a plane and a helicopter and that too. Again, all these things have challenges, particularly when we start crossing sim boundaries. And that's the real, particularly when we're doing all the other broadcasting stuff and the recording and everything else. And Chris is handling all of that. We'll lose the farm. We'll lose the farm, and about the second or third one we go over, and we didn't really want to run the risk. So that's the reason why we've not done quite as much travelling. What we've ended up doing is the boat goes on the travelling somewhere, and I put the anchor down somewhere, and we talk about what's going on in the background and take it from there, really. But yeah, we take it on board. I'm with you. I'd love to be able to do that. It's just computer power really on us. We haven't got the data farms that some people have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Which is a shame, but.
Any more? Has anybody else got any more ideas? Because that's a great one. I love that one. Thank you.
Oh, Clownie wants. What does he want? Hold on. TP. Okay. Okay. I'm TPing the clown.
Here we go.
Yeah, sim traveling always get funky with vehicles and any other script, really. Yeah.
It's just, I think, just the ability. I think it's just the question of basically you've got to. It's not just scripts. It's the ability to actually physically render the whole environment with the conditions, the way the light hits everything, the meshes. Everything else running in there and doing all that seamless when you cross a boundary. That's a lot to do. He's on the roof. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, Clownie.
We have the clown.
He's got big feet. He's got. Here he's. Oh, okay. I'm looking. Okay, I'm looking on the live. I'm looking on the live stream here. I'm not looking at what I've got here. So, yeah.
Okay.
Live stream. You've got a black nose and a grey
As
body.
long as
But
my nose is there, I feel okay.
there we go. So I'm going to turn around. There we go. Look at this. Okay, I'm looking at you on my Second Life viewer now.
Okay,
Oh yes, love it.
It's still raising. It's still raising. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got him in full. Oh, where's he gone?
Oh, where did he go now? Oh my gosh, Clownie.
He's going to try and drive the boat now. Look out. This is be awkward.
Watch out.
Stay put. You ain't driving this boat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But there we go. Yeah, so it's we just picked the boat here because it's a big enough thing. We can get a few of us around a table and everything on it as well. So that was the whole
Okay.
point there.
I'm
Love to do
waiting
love
for-
to do
all
love
I
to do a
can
boat
see is the
party or
red
something.
nose.
But
Only the red nose.
he's not quite there with Ronald McDonald, which is what I was thinking. But the shoes are definitely special.
Yeah, I put them on just for you guys.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, mate.
Oh, Clownie, you're so kind. Oh.
Let me model them for stream. There we go.
Okay, just stand there and wait. Just wait. He's not raising for me. He's all grey. Let me just.
It's on
keep
this.
my.
Okay, what? Go back to the YouTube.
drop- I'm going to drop down.
Oh,
my,
what's your complexity settings?
I'm just going to drop down the. Ooh, no, that's too much. Okay, I'm
I
dropping
can see him
down
fine.
my
I
draw
can see him fine in
distance.
Second Life, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
because yeah, I don't know.
They
Can I
kind of
just
look
drop
like
down?
bowling shoes rather than clown shoes, but
True. Very true.
but yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's coming. He's coming. He can do his little dance. Someone needs to play the song. I'm sexy for my shirt. I'm too sexy.
Well, I have.
Oh no, we
something
got. Oh
that
no, we
runs a little bit long.
got.
There he comes. There he is. There he goes. Look at this.
I have
coming, he's
something, but it
coming.
runs a little long.
Okay, turn around,
Da-da-da.
Clownie. Let's.
It kind of makes me do it.
What the hell are you doing? Clara, this is YouTube, right? This isn't.
Wine and margaritas.
We're not here to give Chris a strike, right? This week, she will not.
Oh
Panties.
my god! Oh my gosh! Oh,
I can say that Clara is the world's greatest host when it comes to clubbing. And with all the drawn a dinosaur and everything else that we talked about earlier, yes, she does all this stuff, but she doesn't do what she's doing right now in there. Thank God. So yes.
Well, it's
No.
it goes on too long. I can't do it while I'm hosting because it'll interfere with the DJ's set.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But
Oh, Clownie's holding.
yeah,
holding
Clownie, you missed
feeling up there.
it. It's music.
It was
Hazel.
music.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Twerk,
worked.
twerk,
That
twerk,
worked.
twerk
That
that
worked.
ass.
You guys, where are you from? Clownie, I can tell from the accent you're over in Oz somewhere. Whereabouts?
Yeah, Sydney, Australia.
Sydney. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Far away from me. Mercifully.
Yeah, Snacky, how about you?
U.S.
That's a big place.
Yeah.
I'm in
it is,
Texas.
it is.
I don't need to know your postcode, mate. I'm just wondering, or your zip code rather, which is what you use over there, isn't it? Yeah, just roughly.
I'm from Oregon.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah.
I was like on the opposite completely.
Wow. So we are. Well, our mate house different from you here. So I'm
Yeah.
just in London. Yeah, Clara's in Texas. Chris is in
Yeehaw.
Melbourne.
I'm in Queensland. Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, Queens.
Well,
There we
all
go.
of my actual partners from England too. So she'll understand if you're saying daft or sod this or whatever, all your slang.
Yeah.
They
That's
do
that's
have
that's,
fun
that's
and
the
weird slang.
that's the polite version, but yeah. Yeah, we have some more. I'm not going to say street, but we have some more. What's the word? We have some traditional ways of saying things, and then we have some other things that work quite as well. And the old sort of crikey and talking sod all about stuff. We do all that stuff, and depending on which part of England as well, they've got different phrases as well. You can travel about 40 miles in the UK and come across a completely different accent.
Are you saying crikey's British slang?
I'm not saying it's any slang. I'm just saying we use it in England. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. No, I thought you were saying it's from British.
Crikey.
Well, yeah,
I
yeah.
first
People.
heard it when Steve
Steve
Irwin
Irwin.
said it. Oh,
Yeah,
cracky
that's awesome.
Crikey,
Yeah.
yeah. Steve
So
Irwin.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
the zoo is where I live. It's where, around here. His zoo.
People, it's interesting the way people talk because there's sometimes people say I said earlier people sometimes misunderstand or they could take a slightly different meaning. We made a bit of a mess up on something we did earlier this week there, and I just made the comment in local. I just said, you know what, we're in the right pig's ear of this, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
And the lady looked at it and she said, "You're calling me a pig?" I said, "I'm not calling."
Yeah, but honey, she was trying to pick fights. That was a little bit.
Well, no, I'm not going to go there. But yeah, she's just
we're not
looked
gonna
at the.
go there, but yeah.
She obviously never heard it, and actually somebody else actually Googled it. It came up and said, "Oh, actually, he's not meaning what you're saying at all." But it's just people look at it and they just jump to conclusions quite a lot. And I think it's a wonderful part of Second Life when you're talking to people. Here we are. Is me, you, Chris, Clownie, Sharky, you Snarky. You're on the opposite side of the world from me here. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, my time. It's obviously a lot earlier where you are, or later. It's not even the same day in some cases.
Time for wine. Time for wine.
Yeah.
It's actually
It's always time for
there.
wine.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get, but I started drinking at 9 a.m. but now it's 12, so I could actually.
Fair enough.
There you go. Bottomless brunch.
You go, girl. You go. That time to open another drink. I think. Or actually, what you could have done was started with grape juice and then just gone on to the alcoholic stuff when you get near midday. There we go. That could be a good one for future. That could be a good one if people want us to see us doing this sort of thing again. So yeah, please everybody like, subscribe. If you haven't already, if you do, please come up with some ideas. Tell us what you want to talk about. Come along and see us. We can have these conversations. We've got these two guys here. These gentlemen are great, and it's lovely to see you.
100,000 likes and I will twerk again. It's a promise.
That is a big goal.
Does anybody know where I can get some bots? Does anybody know where I can get some YouTube bots from, by any chance? Right. On that bombshell, Chris, I'll let you have the last word.
All right then. Well, thank you very much for everybody who's been watching us and will be watching us. And I'll be putting a poll up to see if you rather see us live or if you rather see recorded sessions. It is all up to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clownie. Thank you, Snacky. So I forgot your name. Snacky? Was it Snacky? Snacky.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I'm sure Chris will she'll hit the button that she's got. I'm sure hear the button fairly shortly now. But we can carry on talking afterwards. But yeah, it's great that you come along to join us, and thank you so much for that. And thanks to everybody else for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for anyone else who's maybe around but not wanting to talk to us. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.
Bye for now.